I need y'all to get ready to make some noise for Coach Elijah Boyd!
Mega difference. I mean, you really helped me to pinpoint my offer. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not just saying this. This is so far the best coaching I've bought anywhere. The way you pinpointed it to me, how it should be, how it shouldn't be, it's just I would have not been able to do it myself. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Before meeting Elijah, I was doing like $3 to $4 grand a month in kind of a freelance coaching business. I paid him about a year ago to teach me one strategy. Since then, everything has just taken off. I just launched a new offer and we did $65K in a week. And me and my business partner are now pacing between $100,000 and $150,000 for this month, which is just insanity. It's completely changed my life forever working with Elijah. And I am going to continue working with him for as long as he's around. So.
Really committed full body to his teachings, to his principles, and to what he had to share with the world. And it really, really worked.
Really worked out. Our first event, I think, what did we do? 60K?
Our first event using his method was we made 60K.
Yeah, and that was in one day. And our next event, which was only a couple of weeks later, we made 80K.
$80,000.
We closed 80K on one day.
So that was our largest month, because really that was all within 2 weeks of each other. That was our largest month that we've ever had in our business. And of course, it's not just about the money. That money is representative of
the people and the lives we've affected,
which are way more. We've enabled more people to transform their own lives because of Elijah's teachings.
I didn't have to go through all these one-on-one calls. I didn't have to do any of that, which takes a lot of time. You know, a lot of people say no. I didn't do any of that. No phone calls. We sold to everyone in a group. Boom. Literally we got everyone into a room, a virtual room, and then boom, $50,000 cash in my pocket later, with more coming in every single month recurring now. So
I was in the mastermind and he taught some really great stuff. I used it. I made $50,000. I've never made that much money in a day. I mean, I've had very successful businesses, but I've never made that much so easily in a day. So
I feel like I actually owe him more money, y'all. I'm just being honest. The techniques that he taught me, I was able to implement instantly. Elijah came and did the repitch. Did 6 figures the first day, but then he came and did a 6-figure repitch.
It's now 3:03, and the recording's going. We will begin our second session. I open up with that video to remind you all that there's nothing special about anybody, including myself, that you see in that video. What we're spending these 2 days on is breaking down and helping you understand the principles that govern that result. 60,000, 80,000, to 120,000, those sound like astronomical numbers. That will become your norm. There's nothing special about them. You find the principles, you apply the principles. The only thing that can happen is you experience the results that the principle governs. Let's start off, and actually, as we're doing this, I want to make sure I can actually see you guys as well, and I don't think I brought back up this Zoom window. What I want to do is I'd love for us to start off with, and let me make sure, there we go. the tech challenges, y'all, that I have experienced today are like none other. And I'm not like a tech. Yeah, actually, Daryl, if you stay right there, I'm gonna fix this. I appreciate it. Are like, I'm. Y'all must be a special group. I'll put it. That's what I told myself before I got on here. Because literally 1 minute before y'all got on here, none of this stuff was working, even though it was all working earlier. And even though earlier before nothing was working, my vibe board still ain't working. So y'all a special group. Apparently y'all supposed to be here because the powers at be is not trying to let this work the way it's supposed to work, the way it's worked over and over again. But that ain't never gonna stop me. I'll teach y'all this with Zoom on my phone with nothing else if necessary. Okay, so um, that video, right? I played that video. Oh yeah, there we go. Fill that in. Boom. Look at Daryl's beautiful face. Daryl, we appreciate you for being our model here and allowing me to get that tech stuff finished and checked out. Boom. All right, and we'll go back to gallery view. All right. So, I play that video to remind you guys of that, and to also be an example for something I'm going to teach you guys later, right? On how you should start and open your events. And so again, that'll come a little bit later. Actually, it'll come tomorrow. We're not going to cover it today, but it'll come tomorrow, and it's very powerful and effective. So I'm playing those on purpose for you because it's not. It has nothing to do. I'm not sure what you thought it was for, but it has nothing to do with ego. And it'll actually increase your conversion rates. So I'll teach you guys that later. But let's go ahead and let's start off with ahas and takeaways. As a matter of fact, here's the question I'd like for you to answer. All right. We had our first session and we walked through our first move, which is selling. You want to get off sales calls. You want to eventually have a 6-figure day. You need to understand selling, closing, and pitching. And we spent a few hours this morning covering selling, what it is, and I gave you an example of it. So here's my question for you guys. And just raise your hand and I'll go down the list. But do you see that making a difference for you? Was there anything this morning that we covered, right? Was there anything this morning that we covered that you believe and you can see making a difference for your business? Anybody want to share? Go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, so me and my business partner, we already currently run a webinar.
Actually, hold on. You guys getting an echo or is that just me? No echo for you guys? All right, let me just make sure of something here. Not a problem. Go ahead, sir, I apologize.
No, it's all love. So we already currently run a webinar. I'm just thinking like, okay, how can we incorporate or really like change everything around? The kitchen table logic and the third party proof, I think we were definitely missing that, right? Because a lot of the stuff we were using was just like testimonial based. So it wasn't that like, hey, I'm closing you on the belief, and here is external proof opposed to my results and stuff like that. So that was perfect for us.
Absolutely. That's a big one. Give it up for Daryl, everybody. Woo! Yeah, that's a great takeaway. And by the way, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Remember, it's not that we can't use those things, personal experience, my personal proof, my personal experience. It's not that we can't use those things. It's that if that's the only thing I'm using as evidence, for instance, in the trial, it's literally as if, let's say someone's been accused of something and they're like, no, I'm going to go to trial and fight this. And it's like, what's your evidence? It's like, because I didn't do it. Look at me. It's like, well, okay. You see what I'm saying? It's like, what would you expect? Even if the person's good at it, you're like, well, I kind of expect you to say that. That's what the audience is doing as well. It's like, all right, so then I can only base my decision on how well or how much I believe you, which when it comes to the end, maybe I'm like, okay, that was kind of good information. I kind of believe you, this, that, and the third. But when it comes to asking me to sacrifice my hard-earned money, I may be like, let me hold off and see and kind of get to know him a little bit better. So yes, that can drastically increase you guys' close rates. I love that. And Brian, I am recording this not through Zoom. We're recording it locally on our drive through our presentation software because Zoom compresses the video and pisses me off, quite frankly. I hate the quality that the Zoom recordings look in because we paid a lot of money for this camera and Zoom makes it look like I'm on a webcam and I hate it. So anybody else? Do you see anything was there anything this morning that you believe is going to make a difference for your business? Yes, sir, Mario.
Hey, kitchen table logic again is blowing my mind right now. And the opportunity that it is not just for that, but even inside of like how I can use it in the different every touch that I have with a human being. So that literally is it's a game changer potentially if I can figure out how to use it properly. Right. So thank you for that.
You're absolutely welcome. Give it up for Mario, everybody. Woo! Yeah, kitchen table logic. You're correct. It's something that you can just use in general. Like I struggle to teach without kitchen table logic. And you already do a form of this, right? I don't want you guys to think it's too hard. Because it's very similar to like when you're trying to explain something to someone and you say like, how, or it's just like X, Y, and Z. It's very similar to that, except instead of because that's not technically effective communication. So for instance, this is called Prime. It's like a hydration drink. And if I wasn't explaining it to somebody, if somebody didn't know what it was, I could say, well, it's just, Gatorade, right? Okay. So that's what I'm using to explain what this is if you have the reference point of Gatorade. Here's the issue with communicating that way. You need to know what Gatorade is, right? So that's where the ineffectiveness, and obviously we're using something simple, but when you're trying to teach conceptually, that's the issue is, well, do they have the next reference point? And does everyone have the same experience with that reference point so we're all on the same page? Probably not. So what I do instead is I use kitchen table logic where I can use the logic of something, even if somebody hasn't experienced or doesn't have a reference point with it yet or before, right? Where now we can go, oh, I understand exactly what it is or what it does or what it means for me, not because I've had experience with it necessarily before, but because of the logic you've presented to me, right? Just like I gave the example of my wife. Well, I choose married people, but I could use another example because maybe someone hasn't been married before. I could easily ask someone. I saw actually someone earlier, I don't remember who it was, put in driving. Okay, cool. Exactly. Remember before you got your license, you were, oh, I can't wait to drive. I can't wait to, you were so excited to drive. That's what you were doing. But now that you've driven tons of times, right, the how you get ready and prepared is not the same, right? You just kind of don't care, right? You just, you don't even think about it. I got somewhere to go. I hate driving. And I'm a husband, so sucks for me because basically since I met my wife 10 years ago, all I do is drive. She don't drive. I don't want to drive, right? My wife, I should actually do this. I should just get out of camera and film next time we go somewhere and just get in the passenger seat. She would, she'd be like, oh, what are you doing? Right? She'll drive. If I'm not there, she's like, she just left somewhere, right? But if I'm there and available, oh, I'm driving, right? She's like, I love road trips. Yeah, I bet you do. It's really easy when all you got to do is sit over there in the passenger seat. But that's another good one. Christy is next. You cannot move somebody with their hand up. Oh, I wasn't trying to move her. Go ahead, Christy.
Hey, I'm definitely on board with what they said about the kitchen table logic, and I like how you frame it together. So you start adding one side to the other side to get the whole picture of what you're trying to explain to get your point of view across. So that's huge.
Yes. Give it up for Christy, everybody. Woo! Yeah. So the framing is everything, right? And the reason I felt like it was important to break down my talk for you guys to show you that once you have the framework of action, belief, frame, so I know what action I want them to take, which means I know the belief that is associated with that action, because actions and beliefs are always linked. Well, once I know that, then it's very easy for me to just sit back and say, okay, I don't need to just start my presentation and rush into this is the belief. I can really start to build and walk the jury, right? Or in this case, the audience to, okay, right? And like I said, I can start to set up a frame and I can be masterful. This is where the skill and the art and the fun comes in, where I'm helping, especially for what we talked about. Because remember, I told you guys, you want the audience to give themselves your presentation. So how do I do that? I get us to the same page. I walk you through, and this is why I've heard people have said this to me before. You're such a great storyteller. Well, I'm not really trying to tell stories, but because I'm having the audience give themselves my presentation, I'm walking you through how I came to the conclusion that I came to, so that you come to the same conclusion, because there's nothing for you to refute if you do it that way. So yes, that's what would be considered the frame, and it's very, very powerful. So awesome takeaway. I believe I saw Brad, and then Jen will be next. Brad.
Yeah, thanks. I think the part about trying to sell the point of view, not the product or the service, was what hit home for me, because I'm probably pitching too much is what I'm realizing, and not trying to get them over to my point of view initially, which you made a good point about. And so trying to ask questions, even if they're hypothetical, just to get them to see the logic, and then letting them convince themselves that they're the kind of person that would be interested in the offer that I have, versus trying to push it, which I feel like I'm doing more. So that was the biggest takeaway for me, is kind of changing that to build more of the story, help them come over to my point of view, and then sell themselves basically on the next step.
Absolutely. Give it up for Brad, everybody. Woo! Another great takeaway. Right? Yeah, it's so key. Like I said, the point of view is everything. And it just makes it less work for you, like Brad kind of mentioned, because if we see things the same way, again, you remember I picked a very non-controversial thing like abortion earlier. There's no controversy around that. So like when people, it's interesting. Like so take that, right? Abortion. Someone that has that point of view, and we're all adults here. Okay, so let's say this. Someone who's for abortion, leave your comments and your feelings out of it. Someone who has that point of view, what would that person qualify as politically? There's only two answers. There's two parties. Look at everybody being scared. Right? There you go. Which is usually associated with what party? Exactly. Ain't that crazy? Now, let me ask you a question. Doesn't matter if you're Democratic or you're a Democrat or you're Republican. Do you know every Democrat in the United States? Do you know every Republican in the United States? But all of a sudden, all of these strangers are all the type of people who would do the exact same thing in a specific situation. How and why without communication? Because they share the same point of view. This is why I'm saying it makes it easier. If I get the audience on my point of view, I don't have to be all like, the pitch is just like, you were already, like, we already agree on this, right? Like, the reason we find comfortability in all areas of life, not just politics, putting ourselves into boxes like that, because humans are fluid, right? Like we can have different experiences, but we put ourselves in boxes like this. Why? Because you get that comfortability of, oh, if I'm around other Republicans, I already know, right? You know a great deal about that person. If I put myself around other Democrats, right? Other entrepreneurs versus people who work 9 to 5, like that's why we do that. Because you know something about these people automatically. We know that we're going to do or like the same thing. Like there's a like-mindedness. And so, like I said, you don't have to go and convince people of like mind or really pitch them on anything. Right? It's just kind of like a, hell yeah, of course you know I'm down for that, right? You ever look at your best friend asks you to do something, you're like, come on, you didn't even have to ask me that. You already know I was down for that. That's what we're doing with the audience when we do it that way. So great takeaway, Brett. Jen, go ahead.
Sorry, gotta unmute myself. I think one of the big takeaways that wasn't already listed was whenever you gave that the PEMDAS, like solving the equation from the wrong side was a big one. So like for me, I kind of thought of it like the issue isn't that you've lost X many pounds, it's just that it's taking you forever to lose X many pounds, especially for like the fitness industry. So I think that was a big one. It's just like solving it from the wrong side of the equation. Like time is a big factor for a lot of people when it comes to their fitness journey, I believe.
Absolutely. Give it up for Jen, everybody. Woo! Let's go, Jen! Yeah, it's big, right? And so that was an example of, again, PEMDAS was an example of me introducing kitchen table logic. That's another example for Mario of like how to use it. Again, kitchen table logic I use it for everything because it's really just like if you want to truly have effectiveness, I just say in communication. And I was reminding some of the students of this at the in-person mastermind last week. Do you guys understand that the purpose of communication is manipulation? Think about that for a second. The entire purpose of language and communication is manipulation. Now, unfortunately, most times when you've been introduced to the word manipulation, it's only associated with negative things. But if I say, oh, babe, when you walk past that, could you please hand that to me? What's the whole purpose of that? To manipulate her behavior from what she was doing to also including that in. That doesn't have to be some like nefarious, horrible thing. The whole purpose of communication and language is manipulation. So when I understand that that's the purpose of it, well, then when I start to say, okay, well, when I'm like, okay, well, guys, let's see here. Whenever I want to go communicate something now, I want to sit back and I want to say, okay, how can I first introduce some logic, which is basically a reference point. I use that a lot because when you study the human brain, that's really what the human brain does, right? The human brain is basically this collection of reference points, and then it connects the dots between these reference points to basically make like these highways of like communication understanding. So if you really want to communicate effectively with somebody, I want to first start with a reference point. Now, if I don't know where they are, I start with something that's basically irrefutable, something just very simple and logistical, right? And like I said, that doesn't have to necessarily be an opinion. You can build an opinion off of that by doing exactly what Jen talked about with like PEMDAS, where I take something as simple as like, hey, you're focusing on you're spending all of your time, all of your energy, all of your effort trying to change your situation. Yes? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And you're not making much headway. No. I don't know about you, but this is something that I found that changed everything for me. If I'm doing 100% of what I know how to do to solve my problem, maybe the answer is not working harder or doing more. Maybe I have to look at, well, how am I attacking this problem? Like, for instance, how many of you have ever seen a clogged drain? Well, that's something that, again, most adults have seen before. And I say, now, if your drain was clogged, and for those of you who don't know what that is, imagine you're brushing your teeth, you turn on the water, and the sink just starts filling up. It's not going down the drain. That's pretty annoying, right? And so you've taken a clogged drain. Now imagine you say, oh my goodness, the drain is clogged. And you start playing with the faucet. You're like, man, The water just must be really coming out real thick. That must be why it's not going down the drain. Let me just see if I can clean the faucet. Or you start, I'm going to replace the sink knobs, right, for hot and cold. How many of you would agree it doesn't matter how much time you spend messing with the faucet and the knobs, how much energy, how much effort, how much you spend, or how expensive the faucet replacement is, you're still going to have the problem of a clogged drain? Everyone says yes. It's like, why? Because even though you're doing everything that you can to attack the problem, you're focused on the wrong side. Write this down. As long as you focus on the wrong side of the equation, you will always, what's that word? Always get the wrong answer. And this is why you feel stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck in your business. But I'm here to change it. I'm here to help you focus on the right side of the equation. Let me share with you what I found out, what I fell into that changed everything, not only for me, but for hundreds of other women since then, and has actually created a community and an entire company that I run today. It's called, and I believe your business is just Gin Wall Fitness, but it's called Gin Wall Fitness. And our movement, you see, like that's an opening now. It's like, oh, where you've helped everyone understand, my biggest issue is, like you said, this, right? So that's kitchen table logic. I'm helping people understand that the real issue, and now whatever I say next, as long as it still makes logical sense, right? It's keeping up with the logic. It's like, oh, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, right? Like I've been focused on this, and if I do it the opposite way, boom, I'll be good to go. So that's kitchen table logic, another great takeaway. Brian, yes, sir, you are up next.
Yeah, so I've been here, but I've been here before, and I keep coming back because what you teach is the principles of persuasion for real. Like I just left a funeral, and that's the whole point of like how you said like law, a funeral. They're selling their point of view. Now, if he closed and pitched at the end, it would have been 10 times more impactful because his point of view was already sold. So, like that's key. Like I already know what you teach. It's going to dramatically affect my business. But just the fact that it can be used in every industry is just it's remarkable.
I love it. Give it up for Brian, everybody. Woo! I got here in the chat. Romeo says third-party proof for me. Rapina says biggest distinction, it's not about selling them, it's about changing their POV so they sell themselves. Absolutely. The whole secret, if that's what you want to call it, to the way that I sell and I teach people to sell is, I'm not. You're going to sell yourself. I got this from, so I used to want to be a psychologist. When I was a kid, I was like, oh, I want to be a psychologist. I'm a college dropout because I started a business and I ended up making more money than everyone at that school and realized that everyone at that school is an idiot. Specifically the people, I just think it's interesting that you can have a professor who teaches students to do something he's never done. And I remember sitting in one of the classes, in this business class, and I'm just like, it was a period of like a week. I was in a marketing class and I was in an accounting class, and I'm like, this is inaccurate. Everything that this joker just said is not true. And I know because I'm doing it in real time under fire. And this dude's worked here for 30 years and has no businesses. This is stupid. And I'm making as much as the president of this university. I'm leaving. Right? I just think that's interesting, right? Because that's not how our society used to be. You used to apprentice under people. Meaning you would go literally to someone who did exactly what it is you wanted to do, and you would learn from that person. So like there wasn't like, oh, go off for 14 years to medical school. Like the only value of medical school is when they actually start their rotations. It's like, that's the valuable piece. They had to spend 10 years to get to that piece, but that's what teaches you how to be a doctor. None of the other crap. Like you want to become a doctor? Go to a doctor follow him around every single day and learn what doctors do. Like, that's how we used to learn stuff. Now it's like, oh, I sat in a class and then I interviewed for this position, and so now I'm going to teach you about how to be a doctor even though I don't practice. What? And then it's funny, this happens in all fields, right? You get this degree, they taught you how things are supposed to be, you go into the workplace, and the first thing they tell you at that new job is they're like, yeah, no, we don't we don't do any of that stuff here. Let me show you how we really do it. Like, all that stuff, forget that stuff. Come over here. Right? You're like, wait, what? What did I just waste my entire life doing? Because how could they? How could academia, I'm not saying there's no value, but how could academia keep up with what's actually happening boots to the ground? It would be like me trying to prepare you for military tactics and like, sure, I could say some stuff that sounds good. Have you ever actually been under military fire? No. So everything you're saying is irrelevant. Right? So, but yeah, like those things are, Mario said law school is like that. Oh, so Mario and Brian were both pre-law. That's exactly how it is. Like my sister, she's like, when we got here, and like they were like, oh yeah, all that, we don't do any of that stuff. It's like you studied and you crammed. You're like, I gotta remember all this so I can. And then they're like, yeah, forget all of that. And then you spend that time at that job learning how to actually do it. It's so funny. Yeah, Jen says, and then workplaces always ask for work experience. Yeah, like the system's so broken. It's like, sorry, we're really looking for somebody with a little more experience. How am I supposed to get so experienced if nobody will hire me if I don't have any experience? Oh, it's funny, right? But so that stuff is so key, right? And being able to lay that out. So that's selling, right? The point of view is everything, right? And I want them to sell themselves because, like I said, the power of that is there's nothing to refute, right? It's why if you guys ever also notice too, and you'll be able to go back and watch the pitch, I don't have a lot of questions. I open up for questions, comments, and concerns. There aren't a lot of questions. And you probably even were trying to rack your brain during it too. You're probably thinking like, I kind of want to do this. And I feel like I'm supposed to, but I don't really have any questions or comments or concerns. Because the whole time you were just really having a conversation with yourself that I was facilitating. So I started telling you I used to want to be a psychologist until I realized that's a lot of classes and a lot of school. No, thank you. Right? And I hated science. Like I was cool with science until I remember like in one point in high school in chemistry, we got to moles. Does anybody remember that? Like how to calculate moles in chemistry? Oh, that ruined me. Oh yeah, that took me all the way. I passed that class because the teacher liked me. No kidding. Moles, we like spent, I don't know why. This dude used to be an actual scientist. We spent like the rest of the year on moles, and I just did not understand that thing. And it took me all the way down to a D, which was not passing in my school, right? And I'm like, I'm about to fail this class. And our final was like final exam was like a large part of the grade. And so I did it. It was basically mole based because he was like, I'm even going to be nice to you guys. The exam's only like 10 questions. No. I need you to give me like 100, okay? Because that's going to help my odds. Because if it's 10 questions, you miss 2, that significantly impacts the grade, right? And like 5 of them were moles. I'm like, bruh, I failed, right? So we turned in this exam, and I was a good student in general, just that class, I mean. And I know he did this for me to this day. He ends up grading everybody, and then he announces, I got a surprise for everybody. We're going to go down. We spent like the last day or whatever going down and just working out what the real answers were for each question. And he just said, my surprise is for everybody. I'm giving everybody an A+ for the exam, 100%. I needed exactly an A+. I needed to get 100% to pass that class. I went to a small school too. There's only like 12, 15 of us in that class. So it was like, everybody else was fine. I knew everybody else was great. I'm like, this ain't it. I'm about to retake this class in the summer, right? He let me pass. But like, I was like, oh, that's too much for me. But I never stopped studying the science and psychology of human beings because I always felt and still felt today that if you will learn the science and psychology of a human being, you will walk around as an everyday superhero, right? I told you guys that obviously this is years and years, but my wife can attest to this. With about 85% accuracy, I can watch a complete stranger, not even have a conversation with them, and can pretty much tell you their life stories. I mean, it's like crazy stuff. There's this guy at the gym I go to. He runs the basketball thing. We're not friends, right? But I see him consistently. His name's Angelo. And so at my gym, I go to Lifetime Fitness. So I'm like in the sauna in the pool and like in the where the pool is. So I'm in the sauna. There's like, 4 Olympic pools. So it's, large. And then there's this glass window. And through the glass window, probably another like 40 yards of like the front desk and then these double pane glass doors. So I'm sitting there in the sauna. And I see Angelo walk through the doors. He scans in and he's walking past the glass. And literally, I just happened to be looking up. And instantly I go, huh, that's interesting. Like it just happened for me like that. So then later I get out the sauna and I go into the gym and, Angelo's running basketball and stuff. And he's talking and laughing with some guys. And, I was waiting for, my turn because, it's like a league. And so I was like, Angelo, you in the doghouse? Remember, we're not friends. I don't even know if he has a girlfriend. Never met his girlfriend. Didn't know if he had one. He turns around with the craziest look and said, how the F did you know that? I said, my bad. I was like, it's kind of like what I do. Like, for work, I have a trained eye. I said, I was in the sauna. I just saw you walk in. He said, what's that got to do with anything? I said, well, that, and I noticed a couple other things. And now he wasn't sad, right? He's over here laughing and joking, but I just noticed subtle microfacial expressions. Again, how people, there's only 7% of communication is language. The other 55% is, the other 55 and like 38% or whatever is body language and tonality. So if you learn to read those things, literally microfacial expressions, like this would be me changing my face. Like, no, I'm not talking about that. A microfacial expression is like to the untrained eye, not even possible to be read, right? And I just noticed, I was like, oh, and I said, and then when I walked in here, I said, usually you bring a snack with you. He was like, yeah. I said, you don't have a snack today. He was like, no. I said, I don't know a grown man that packs himself a snack to go to work. I said, your girl packs that snack, doesn't she? He said, yeah. I said, you ain't got no snack today because you in the doghouse. He said, yeah, bro, I missed it. Right? But like, I was not, it just like happened for me like that quick, right? It was a trained eye. Then I tried to help him out, right? So I was like, again, I don't know anything. I just, I like being nice. So I was like, does your girl like wine? He was like, yeah. I'm like, red or white, right? So I told him I'm going to send you guys something. So I get his address because they had just recently bought a house and stuff. So I went online. I had them drop off like this wine and like, what's it called? Like a security board or something. I don't know. I know it ain't called this, but I call it a security board. The board with all the cheese and meats, right? People be trying to be too fancy. I'm not that bougie, right? I spent most of my life poor. The stuff with the cheese and meats, right? I buy that and some wine. I have it shipped. I also found on Amazon like this, I don't know, like you could like put it on like kind of like your living room table, and it's like a little mini like campfire, but you can like roast marshmallows, but like inside. So I get the marshmallows and stuff. And I was like, so I told her, I said, I'm gonna order some stuff, and I'm gonna ship it to you for your girl, for you to make up with, make up to her. And he's like, oh, okay, cool, bro. So I send that stuff. So I see him this next week. He's like, oh, bro, good looking now. Oh, no, before. Actually, a couple days before I see him again, he sends me this video because I told him I need your number so I can get your address and I'll send you all the tracking numbers and stuff. He sends me this video and he's like opening the stuff that I sent. And he's like, oh man, thanks so much, bro. And then he pans and his girlfriend is in there. He's like, babe, tell Elijah thank you for all this stuff. I'm like, you are a dummy. So then I see him and I'm like, dude, how'd you like this stuff? He was like, bro, we loved it. That was so good. Thanks, bro. It was so nice. And she loved everything. I said, you messed up. He said, what do you mean? I said, I don't know your girlfriend. She don't know me from Fred. You were supposed to bring her home and act like you did it so you could make up. He was like, oh, I was just so excited you sent stuff to the new house. I'm like, you're a dummy. Now you over here telling, babe, look what this random person that you don't know them. I'm like, you're an idiot. Why? Oh, right. But that's just the skill that I've really gotten. And I felt like, again, if I could hone in and craft that skill, you would work around like a superhero because you'll be able to read what's not being said, which is the most important part of communication. Which is actually what we spent a good portion of this past mastermind retreat talking about. Filling in the gaps of, okay, we know 7% of communication is verbal, but let's talk about the rest and what it really means and the ramifications and how to hold and, all that good stuff. It's very, very important. So that's selling, right? And Romeo's got us with the pronunciation. Charcuterie. I don't care. Hey, when I go to fancy places and I don't know how to say it, I be like this stuff right here. And they're like, X, Y, and Z. And I always tell them, my wife gets in there, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it, I'll pay for it. Just stop trying to be all bougie to me. I don't know what it's called, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. So bring it out so I can give you a nice tip and we can go on about our life. So that's selling, right? And so now we want to spend this session on closing. And closing is very important. It's a very overlooked step, but it's gangster. Now, of all the steps, if there was going to be one that if someone said, Elijah, rank from importance these three, I would definitely say selling, then pitching, then closing. Okay? So you can have a decent day without closing, but you will leave tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table if you do not close. Because closing, what is it? Well, first and foremost, in order for you to close, you're going to need to create in your presentation something that I call the cash cow close. Right? So earlier we talked about creating a signature sales talk. That's 80% of your presentation. Then, like the other, I'd say 5% of your presentation is closing. The remaining 10 is pitching. The cash cow close is really important. Its purpose is to empower the audience to make a decisive commitment to acquire whatever it is that they're telling themselves they desire. In other words, closing, the purpose of it is to empower the audience to do whatever they feel is necessary. That's key. Do whatever they feel is necessary to get what it is they're telling themselves they want, right? Now, the key here is, remember, it's a self-commitment. And this commitment, so it's not to me, and I'm not asking them to commit to buying anything from me. That has nothing to do with this. I'm trying to get them to commit to themselves to do whatever they feel. I never tell them what to do. Whatever they feel is necessary in order to get what they are telling themselves they want. It's all about self, self, self. Now, here's the difference. I shared this with you guys during the event, but it's worth repeating. And it's also the only way I know how to introduce this concept because it's my kitchen table logic example. But my wife is married to me because I had the best pitch. Right? I had the best pitch. We'll talk about pitching, my exact definition of it later, but that's why she's married to me. However, if my wife hadn't closed herself on being a married woman at some point in her life, it doesn't matter how good my pitch is. Christy shared with us earlier, she said, oh yeah, I've been a hairdresser for, X amount of years. I've heard it all. Kids, that ain't about my life, right? Like that, I said, that ain't for me. That ain't, right? She closed herself on, I don't want no kids. I experienced everything else out in this life, but not no kids. I don't want them, right? So imagine someone trying to come to Christy now, and people do this in relationships, which is one of the worst things that you can ever do, right? And think, oh, I'm going to change Christy. I'm going to get her to, okay, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. It might, and someone might compromise, but that doesn't necessarily mean that their commitment, what they actually wanted, changed. They just may have been pressured and compromised, which leads to regret, unhappiness, all these other things that you don't really want. So if she had never decided and committed to herself, I want to be a married woman, because if you're going to be married, you have to prep yourself, right? And just like we were talking about children, there is a level where you say, hey, look, I can't really, even all the preparation in the world doesn't really prep you. I would agree with that. But you still have to prep yourself, right? Like, you understand that when you're when you're getting married, like ever since I've been married to my wife, I told her this years ago, and I'm not like an emotional, I'm a logic guy, right? Stats and data. But I also say things like this on purpose because it gets a response out of people. It's just how I speak. So this was a while ago, and I knew exactly what I said, and she's not overly emotional, right? Remember, she's been with me for 10 years. But I told her, I said, yeah, you're a burden. You're a burden to me, right? Meaning that since I got married, my children are a burden to me as well. And it was funny. This conversation happened like maybe a year or so before we had children. And after we had our first kid, she came to me and she said, I know exactly what you meant that day we were talking about a burden. She said, because Makai is a burden to me. I said, exactly. Right? My mother-in-law, she's divorced, right? But she's been divorced for a long time. She's in her 60s, and she's like healthy and all those things. She's a burden to me as well. Why? Because the way I'm raised is because she doesn't have a son and she's not married. She's my responsibility. Right? All I mean by that is, since I got married, there's not been a single day in my life where I don't consider my wife, what it's going to mean for her, what it is going to do or not going to do for her, the pros and cons, my children, there is no, that's, now there's all these beautiful things that come with that, but you don't get to, when you decide to go be married, be like, I'm just going to go through life and not consider this person at all, but I'm going to be married. No, you got to decide before, okay, I understand. And I don't like the word, I was actually just sharing somebody with, I don't like this idea of like, oh, you have to compromise. I don't agree that marriage is about compromise, right? But this is not a marriage class. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to take you into consideration, right? Yeah, the burden, like Kirsty said, when anyone else is involved, it's always a burden. Exactly. It's like, even when you go out with friends, it's like, oh, well, is so-and-so, I know she's kind of shy. Is she going to talk to so-and-so? Or she doesn't really eat That's a burden. You're like, I'm just trying to go here and eat X, Y, and Z. Oh, Christy's coming. We got to, Christy don't really eat here. It's like, we got to consider. And you do it out of care, but now you don't just get to do whatever you want to do. So that's a preparation that happens. You have to commit and decide that that's what I want. And that you're going to be willing to do the things necessary in order for that to happen. So that's closing. But that happens on a self level. Before she ever met me, she had to close herself on that. It has nothing to do with me. Right? So same thing here. When we close, it's about helping the audience to have a self-commitment. Now, the reason this is so important is also because you have to understand the way our society works and is run. Okay? So, unfortunately, we are not a society that teaches people to think for themselves and be confident in whatever decision you made, yay or nay, and to persist through that. That's not the default of our society, right? It's the opposite. To not think for yourself, accept exactly what you're told. If you have a different thought other than what you've been told, question it to the point where you may want to consider there's something wrong with you because everyone else is accepting X, Y, and Z, right? And what that causes you to do as you go through life is it causes you to need a cosign for everything that you do, right? Now, I'm not trying to get into conspiracy here. I'm trying to show you guys how you can increase your sales. This is the default. Let me show you what I mean by that. Like, you ever remember when you would just like, we can go back to, we still do this as adults, I'm sure, right? But you ever remember like, well, let's forget kids. Let's just do it now. You ever got ready to go out to friends, go out with friends, or see somebody's family, or for a business engagement, and you asked a friend or your spouse or something, you put on an outfit and you say, "What do you think about this? This is what I'm going to wear for X, Y, and Z. What do you think?" Well, that's a very interesting thing because you picked that and put it on. Why? Because you liked it. You felt good in it, confident, X, Y, and Z, but you're hesitant to step out and go to the thing without a what? A cosign. Why? Because you don't trust your own stamp of approval. Why? Because you've been the society is set up for you to not trust your own internal. So in something as small as that, I got all dressed up, put this thing on because I felt good and looked confident. And if someone close to me says, you'll take it off. Right, Rufina said it's insecurity, but it's not only insecurity because you can be a very secure person and you'll still do this. It's because you've been conditioned to never make a decision without asking someone else if they agree with the decision before you make the decision. That's the way your life has been run. That's what's been programmed on how you go through life. Well, the issue with that is then as us as entrepreneurs, right? You guys see how psychology ties into all this? Then you go into a sales situation and you're asking prospects to make this decision. And most people are doing it over the phone. You want them to make it right now. But that's literally not how they've been programmed to make any decision at all. That's not the programming. And human beings will never consistently behave outside of their programming. Never. So, your sales system is going against the natural order of how they do things. Nature. You're literally having an uphill battle. So what I need to do before I pitch to them is I want to close them, meaning I want to give them back temporarily, right? Closing can be motivational, okay? Now, I'm going to be very clear about this. We are not motivational speaking, and I'm not a motivational speaker. If you get motivated, congratulations. That's not my purpose. Right? Nothing wrong with motivational speakers either, except for it's a very, very different purpose than what we're doing. I can list you some of the greatest motivational speakers that you could name that literally can't sell a $9 book in the back of the room. Right? Also, motivation, unlike what we were talking about earlier, POV change, right? Point of view change, which means in order for you to have that change, I changed the belief about yourself, the situation you're in, or the potential solutions. Remember, beliefs make up who we be. So when I change your beliefs, I literally change who you're being, how you're showing up in the world. When I motivate you, Well, let me just ask it this way. You're a fully grown adult. How many days out of 365 do you wake up out of bed and say, "Oh, I'm so motivated today"? Yeah, not that many. I don't care how good or like I have a great life. I don't like that doesn't even cross my mind. Like I'm so motivated today. I'm not motivated to do 99% of the things that I do. Right? We were just talking about relationships, right? Life with other human beings. My roles that I cover, I'm proud to cover those roles as a husband, as a father, right? As a provider, a protector. Doesn't mean I'm motivated to do them. I do them because they make me proud. It aligns with my belief and projection of who I think I am, and every day I get to fulfill those things to confirm to myself and add a stack of undeniable proof that I am who I say I am. Not because I'm motivated to do it. That's why I'm not a feelings guy. I don't feel like it. Okay, what does that mean? You can have that feeling, it just doesn't serve you very much. Right? Cool, I don't feel like it. Right? People talk about chasing happiness. I don't chase happiness. Happiness is fleeting, like motivation. That's that's the issue with our society. They program and tell our children you're supposed to be happy, and everyone's like, I'm not happy, and so I need to do this, and I need to change this about me. And I need to open up a side to it. What do you mean happiness? Right? So it's a very long debate. You can go look all the philosophers and how they define and debated happiness. Happiness is not something you should actually chase because it's very hard to chase. It's like chasing infatuation in a relationship. It's fleeting. Right? I was telling my wife the other day, you can have your own opinions, doesn't matter. Right? I told her, I said, are you happy? I said, I don't think in terms of happiness anymore. I've trained myself out of that a long time ago. I said, because it just doesn't serve me at a high level. It only sets you up for failure. I said, babe, traditionally, the only beings who get to consider happiness, right, in this society is children and occasionally women. Right? I said, babe, you think in terms of happiness. I don't think in terms of happiness. I said, and I don't think that it serves you in the long run for you to think in happiness either. But you do get the privilege of doing it because she's, with me, right? She's doing well. I said, I think in terms of proud. Is this going to make me proud? Because I can do the hard things and I can go through stuff if it means that I'm going to be proud of myself, that I provide, proud that I protect, proud that proud of those things. Absolutely. Happy? I don't know. I think happiness is like, once I've done all this stuff, I can look back and say I gave it my all, and I'm proud of my body of work. I'm happy with it. I don't think it's really something I chase on a daily basis, right? Like, oh, we did 183 I'm telling you guys numbers. This last event, I'll share them with you guys later anyway. We did $183,000 in sales in that event that you guys were at, that you guys just attended. We cash collected $80,000 of it, 40%. You can expect those numbers as well. We'll talk about them later. Are you happy? Are you happy with it? I don't know. What does that mean? Am I supposed to be happy with it? Like you said, like, am I proud that I did my absolute best to communicate and help people realize there's a better way that can get them the things that they desire? Absolutely. Am I proud that because I've honed and sharpened that skill and I provided value to other people, I was paid for that value, and that money can do things for my family and children? Absolutely. Happy? Don't know. Don't care. It's not terms I think in. I think if I look at in a year or just in a month, there's 30 days. Did I make myself proud with my body of work every single day? If I do 30 out of 30 days, I'm happy with that month. Right? And that's about the extent of it. Cool, happy. Next thing. Back to it. So we want them to have this self-commitment and empower them to be able to make a decisive commitment and be okay with what they've decided. Why? Because everyone else is not necessarily going to understand the decision that they're making. And that's why most people don't buy. Like, oh, my friends, you guys probably have done this at a certain point. My friends or my family. I love asking entrepreneurs this, right? Some of you guys who have been around the block, you've been in the game for a minute. Your friends and family don't even know about the single biggest day in your business, do they? Probably not. Why? Because you know not to share it with them. Because they don't understand it, right? What I look like, um, we were just having some celebration at my mom's house recently, and she like had everybody go around and like share what their biggest things was, right? And Jen said, "Family, no friends, yes." And it's because Jen, all your friends are entrepreneurs, aren't they? There you go. That's the only way it would happen that way because they're experiencing the same reality. Like, what am I supposed to be like? Oh yeah, we did 350. Like that's not it. They'll take it as arrogant and cocky, and you only care about money. Money's not the only thing that matters. I never said money was the only thing that matters. Isn't that such a stupid thing to say, by the way? Like, what if you said, man, I really care about my nose. I'm so thankful and glad that my nose, smells and works well. Like, your nose isn't the only thing that matters. Yeah, I didn't say it was the only thing that matters, but I can still, it's still important. Like, okay, keep the little money you got. I'm gonna keep doing what I have, right? Like, what do you mean? Like, so if I just, oh, you're right, money doesn't matter. I love when people say that. Oh, you entrepreneurs, all they care about is money. You do everything for money. Okay, since all I care about is money, and you're so righteous and you don't care about money, keep working your 40, 50, 60 hours, but send your paycheck over here to me, because money don't matter. That was like a year ago. I had a little Twitter thread that popped off because I was talking about some finance stuff, and all these people that are everyday workers, and this lady said something like that, and the conversation ended when I said, "Well, since you don't care about money," I said, "Please, I'll send you my PO box. Send your next paycheck to me." Oh, nobody wanted to do that. Like, don't tell me all I care about is money, and you wake up every day and drag yourself to a job that you proclaim you hate, and you sell majority of your time at this job that you hate solely for the purpose of a little bit of somebody else's money, and all I care about is money? Yeah, okay, right? So you have to empower these people to make a decision and be okay with that decision, even if everyone around them, including their spouse maybe, is not co-signing this decision. You can't look for a cosign your whole life. If you do, you'll live the life that other people want you to live. I'm going to play a video here shortly. It's going to be like 15, 20 minutes long, but it's going to be incredibly impactful, and then we're going to spend the remaining time. It's going to be a close. In fact, I'm going to share with you guys a close that, when I did it, generated an extra $150,000 in sales. What's interesting about this close is that at no point, as you'll see, at no point in this close, and what you're actually going to see is a video of me doing what I call wave closing. So I'm doing several closes because the close can literally just be 5 minutes. 5, 10, 15. It's not a long thing. I'm doing wave closing, which means I do several closes in a row. But at no point in this video that you're going to see will you see me mention the name of the program, product, or service, nor the price point. I want you to think about what I'm saying. This close is directly responsible for over $150,000 in sales, meaning I get up, Brian was there, he can attest to this because I did it at a live event where I met him at. I had 75 minutes on stage. I did a series of wave closes. I never mentioned the price point, the offer details. It wasn't my offer anyway. But when I got done, people stood up, went to the back of the room, and bought the offer and did another $150,000 in sales. That's how important closing is. You need to empower people to be able to make a commitment to themselves that I'm going to do whatever is necessary to get whatever I'm telling myself I desire. The reason I didn't mention the program and the price point was because I didn't tell them those things so they would buy that stuff. It was so that they would be empowered to do whatever they felt they needed to do in order to get whatever they were telling themselves they wanted out of life. I don't know what that is. It's a conversation between them and them. Right? So I'm going to play that video. And once I play it, we'll break it down. No, not this video. I have to load it. Give me 1 second. Brian said, all facts, no fiction. Yeah. I usually don't show this in length like this, but I did it for a group of students last time, and it was very impactful for it, and they liked it. And so I thought, maybe I'll do it for my next group of students. And Brian's been a student for a couple months and comes to everything I do because he's just a sponge. And he told me, he was like, man, I've seen you present. He was like, but when you did that, I was like, okay, well, if Brian said so. It's literally the conversation I had. I didn't even tell Brian that. I literally had that conversation in my head. I'm like, oh, if Brian said it was good, I guess it's good enough for everybody. Let's see if this is it.
Principle with y'all? See, I love principles. The reason I love principles
probably can't hear
is because
anything
you can
yet,
get tactics.
because I need to add
You can get strategy.
an audio monitor to this.
But you see, tactics and strategies have a flaw in them. You see, tactics and strategies don't have to apply to all people.
All right, hold on.
At all
I can't
places.
hear it yet. Let me just
At all times.
switch it to the audio
You
monitor.
see, a strategy by definition is something, a strategic advantage, something that I create based upon a strategic. So what happens is first, if you still move, right? Y'all ever asked yourself that before? Yeah. Like you see, like Randy, we all done some dirt. Barrier represents death. Principle with y'all? Yeah. See, I love principles. The reason I love principles is because you can.
Hold on. There's a lag, and it's gonna get on my nerves. So let me fix it. I should have timestamped this better, but I wasn't actually sure if I was gonna show it to you guys or not today. Let me see if this is the point where we want to start.
It's called the law of advancement. How many of you would like to?
Okay. This is one of the closes, right? So watch this. Like I said, it'll be about 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll break it down. But just pay attention in here.
Advance, say yes? Yes. Right? So if you want to advance, you got to understand this principle. And this principle, actually, I'm going to write on the board. You switch the board. Where the pen? We ain't got no pen. On the back, right there. Right there on the right. Right there. Boom. Boom. Appreciate y'all. Okay. So this is crazy. This changed everything for me. So are we good? Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so the law of advancement says this, right? The law of advancement says that basically in nature, in what? Nature. In nature, before anything can go up, it must first come down. Woo. Right? And so I started to understand this principle, and let me just spend some time on the board. I dropped out of college, but I'm an active professor. All right, so I'm gonna put right here on this board, I'm gonna draw this little dot. And you know what this dot is? This little dot right here, it's a seed. Everybody say it's a what? Seed. A seed, right? And you know what this seed's thinking to itself? I want to be a tree. That's what the seed thinks. That's all the seed wants to be. I just want to be a tree. And it's crazy that all the seed wants is to be a tree, because everyone around the seed, you know what they keep telling them? You don't want to be no tree. No, I do. I want to be a tree. You don't want to be no tree. I want to be a tree. And don't it seem like in your own life, doesn't it seem like the people closest to you, your friends, your family, your spouse, right? You're trying to grow into something. that can change everything for everyone. And there's a process, because does a seed go to a tree overnight? No, there's a process. And so you're trying to start the process, and everyone around you is saying, you don't be a tree. Right? And this seed's like, no, I want to be a tree. Now, in order for this seed to grow into a big, strong tree, what must it first do?
Be planted.
Okay, be planted. What else? Water. What else?
Fertilize.
Sunlight, yeah. Anything else?
Fertilize.
Right? Roots, yeah. It needs all of that. But before all of that, the seed has to go down into the ground, right? And the seed must first be willing to cease to be a seed. And see, family, in order for you to become all that you can be, you must first be willing to cease to be all that you have been. See, you try to grow to something new, and you try to hold on to what you was. But in order for you to take this next step, in order for you to make an impact, you must be willing to cease, to sacrifice, to give up, to lay down, throw away, whatever words you want to use. You must be willing to cease to be all that you've been in order to become what you can be. And see, from the seed, it goes down into the ground. And it's crazy that it goes down into the ground like this, because you know what this looks like to everybody else on the outside? It looks like a burial. This ain't no burial. A burial represents death. You see, this seed has not been buried. This seed has been planted. And planted is for growth. You see, you think that this stuff that's coming your way was sent to bury. But see, what God's trying to tell you is, baby, I gave you everything that you need, and in order for you to rule over that assignment and not get knocked down, I need you to have some girth about you. I need you to put some reps in. See, if I send you into the storm as a seed, you won't make it. So I need you to put the reps in so that you can develop and grow. Did you know when you go to the gym, do y'all know how your body actually grows muscles? So you pick some up, exactly. You pick some up, and what happens is the muscle fibers tear. Literally, it just rips apart. And your body's like, oh! Ain't no, that ain't feel good. What was that? They say, hey, he said, huh? You feel that? Yeah, bro. Hey, we better build back stronger. That's like how your body transforms. And then you go back in the gym and pick up something heavier. And it goes, oh! We thought we had built back from the last time. He just hit us with some more stuff. We better build back stronger. And slowly your body transforms and grows into something that can withstand a certain amount of weight and pressure. Yeah. Right? See, you already know this, you're just not focused on it. You remember when you was a kid and you was in 4th and 6th grade, and little Tommy, he didn't respond to your little note. You, oh, my heart is broken. How am I ever going to recover? Oh, my goodness, right? But then you hit high school, you're like, forget little Tommy, he ugly anyway. Big head. Right? Did you know, catch this, did you know that you, who, tap yourself on the chest and say me, you have a 100% success rate against the hardest day of your life. See, the reason I told you I'm Mr. Get It Done is because I've been through a lot of stuff, just like you've been through a lot of stuff. And I'm still here. You're still here. You have a 100% success rate of the hardest day of your life. And you're going to have a 100% success rate on the next day of your life. Don't get distracted. You are not ill-prepared. And so the seed goes down and it's planted. And it goes through a process. And the first thing that it has to do is it has to grow a root system. And these roots don't grow up. They grow down. And they anchor this seed. Right? And after it's anchored, it's grown the roots. Now it can start to sprout and grow up. Right? And it grows into this big, strong tree. Right? And so this seed has gone through the process of ceasing to be a seed. And it's grown into this big, strong tree. that, by the way, everybody has something to say about it. Oh, look at this tree. It's so beautiful, right? Because ain't that how it happened? Everybody think it's so easy when you make it. Because they wasn't in there when everybody was saying that she was barren, right? See, the seed has to go and be planted alone, right? I'm telling you that, family, because in order to change everything for your family, in order for you to break that generational curse, in order for you to impact the world, you're going to have to look at your loved ones, and you're going to have to step away, and you're going to have to get in isolation from them, and it's not going to make sense to them, and they're not going to understand it, and you have to get around some other people, like the community, and you have to be planted, and they're going to know exactly what's going on. And you're going to have to grow in isolation, but you're going to grow into a tree that will provide shade and produce for your family for generations. But you got to move away from it first, right? And so it's going to grow into this tree. And so one day, right, there's these two eagles. And these eagles are flying real. They fly by. And y'all know, one of the reasons you don't just see eagles all around, because eagles like to fly way up, right? So there's these two eagles. Oh yeah, they look like seagulls, but eagles today. Okay, so they got these two eagles. It's a mommy eagle, and it's a daddy eagle. And the mommy eagle, she looked at the daddy eagle and she said, I'm gonna have some little eaglets, right? And daddy eagle said, no, baby, I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me? Right? I'm gonna go build you a nest. Right? Ain't that what we men do? Oh, I got you, baby. Right? So he gonna go build her. He said, what about that tree right there? You like that tree? She said, I love that tree. He said, okay, I'm gonna build you a nest. So he builds this nest. Right? So Mama Eagle lays down in a nest. She lays these eggs. And these little eggs hatch and they turn into little eaglets. Right? And so now they got all these eaglet babies. But where are my parents at? Wave at me, parents. Okay, so y'all know that parents, right, these babies, they're beautiful. But they're the most fragile things. Right? Like if you don't feed this thing, it's completely relying on you. It's gonna die. Right? So the eaglets, they need some food. So every day, the mommy eagle, the daddy eagle, they leave the nest. Woof, right? And they go find the eaglets some food. So the eaglets is looking at this. First day. Whoa, okay. That was pretty cool. Right? So they see this day every day. One day, Mommy Eagle's about to take off. Little Eagle says, Mommy, can you teach me how to fly today? She said, no, baby, not today, but soon enough. And parents, kids don't never ask nothing one time. Right? So as soon as she got done answering, he said, Mommy, can we learn how to fly today? No, baby, not today, but soon enough. Right? Next day, Mommy, can we learn how to fly today? No, baby, not today, but soon enough. Next day, okay, tomorrow I'm going to teach you how to fly. So now all eaglets, they lit. Let's go! We're gonna fly! They're so excited they can't even sleep, right? Y'all remember being up with your siblings? You were supposed to go to bed, you ain't gonna go to bed, right? You're just in there playing, right? They can't sleep. Oh my God, we're gonna learn how to fly today. We're gonna learn how to fly tomorrow. They can't sleep. Next day comes, Mama Eagle comes down, and she says, all right, who wants to go first? Me, pick me, Mommy, pick me. Right? She said, okay, get on my back. Right? Eagle gets on her back, she takes off. Woof, woof, wee, Mommy, wee, woof, higher, Mommy, higher, woof, woof. She goes real high, all of a sudden, boom, dumps baby eagle off her back. And right before the eagle hits the ground, Mama swoops in, whoosh, puts the little eagle back in her back, takes it back up to the nest. Oh, Mama, what you doing, Mama? Why you doing that, Mama? Mama, what you doing? What you doing, Mama? Why you doing that? Right? He gets back to the nest with his siblings. They say, how was it? He said, whatever you do, don't get on Mama back. She's crazy. Right? And so the first night they was up to say they was excited. The next night, they can't sleep because they're terrified. They said, Mama, come on. They're trying to plan an escape, but they can't fly. Right? They're trying to figure this thing out. Next morning, Mama comes. Say, all right, get on my back. Mommy, please, Mama. Please, Mama, come on. We don't do this, Mommy. She said, get on my back. Mama, please, Mama. No, Mommy. I ain't going to tell you again. Get on my back. Yes, ma'am. Right? Get on the back. She takes off. Woof. Woof. Come on, Mommy. Go down. We don't need to go high today. Woof. Woof. Mommy, come on, please. I haven't seen this stuff. Woof. Woof. Boom. Young Seeger. Oh, Mommy. Yeah, Mommy. Right before the ground. Whoosh. Swoops him up. Next day, same thing. Go high up. Whoosh. Jumps baby eagle off. And all of a sudden, the wind catches the eagle's wings, and the eagle starts to fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. The eagle learns to fly by falling. And even an eagle, before it can go up, it must first go down. And if you are pretending that you want your bank account balance to go up and you're not willing to first let it go down, you are kidding yourself. And you see, let me ask you a question. What percentage of eagles learn how to fly? I'm sorry, say that again. 100%. But how many people learn how to fly as high as they can while they're on this planet? 1%. Not nearly enough. And the reason why we don't have a high success rate is because eagles don't have a choice. Right? Humans have a choice. You see, y'all, I didn't tell y'all, you know, human beings, we live in a nest too. You say, I don't live in no nest. Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. We live in a nest over here too. This nest right here is called the circle of sameness. And so we live in the circle of sameness. That's our nest. And when it's our turn to fly, we start falling. And instead of letting the wind catch our wings, what we do is we grab on to the nearest hanging branch. And we crawl back up, right, to this circle of sameness, also known as your comfort zone. Right? And you spend and live the rest of your life there. Unable to fly. Unable to do the very thing that you were created to do. Right? And see, we're scared. We say, I'm scared of falling. You're not scared of falling. You're scared of hitting the ground. Right? Because you don't understand that this is just part of the process. Right? And so since you don't understand it's part of the process, you don't ever step out and do anything because you're scared of falling. Because you think falling is the issue, not the game plan. Right? And see, what's going to happen, see, when you're falling, right when you're out there, by the way, just to be upfront with you, when y'all get into Content Mastery X, and Dontel's putting you on his back to show you how to make impactful content, right? It's going to feel like you're falling. Oh, Dontel! Yeah, Dontel! Ah, Dontel! Woo, Dontel! Right? And before you hit the ground, whoosh. And he's going to keep doing it, and doing it, and doing it, and doing it. See, we in this microwave generation, I know there ain't no kids in here. We all like, oh, these kids, but this TikTok microwave generation, they don't like to wait for nothing. You don't like to wait for nothing. Because let me ask you a question. If it took you 10 years, if you had to put 10 years of reps in, but you could spend the remainder of your life after the 10 years living the life that you were supposed to live, you and your family having everything you're supposed to have, having more money than you knew what to do with, and impacting the world, would you sacrifice the 10 years? Yes. It's real easy to say yes, because in your real life, what you do every day is every time you hit something hard, you push the reset button. And see, some of y'all be 30, 40, 50 years old. You should have been out your, but you keep pushing the reset button. Because you think what you're going through, you don't understand that it's the game plan. See, oh my gosh, No, I don't teach. Oh my, how about that? Okay, okay. Right? And if you're really going to
And so it told me my mic was muted, but you guys have been nodding along like you could hear me. So, um, that was weird. I told you, my system, I'm like being attacked. Maybe there's a hacker on my computer. 3 years, we never have issues like this. And so, right, I'm speaking to the subconscious mind. Oh, actually, I know exactly what it means by that. It means that on the recording, I'm probably going to be muted, even though you guys can hear me on Zoom. Got it. Not an issue. I'll redo this part if necessary. All right. But, right, so it has everything it needs in order to become to that tree. But what's the second thing I communicate there? That in order for the seed to become all that it can be, it must first be willing to what? Be willing to cease to be all that it's been so that it can become all it can be. What's the subconscious message there? Most people in life, they try to hold on to everything that they have, their time, their energy, their effort, and yes, their money, but tell themselves they want to advance in life. But also hold on to all that stuff. That's not how, go look anywhere in nature. That's not how it works. That's why I always laugh when people talk about balance. Everything they teach you in society is BS. You just want balance. I just want a balanced life. Life isn't balanced. Life is about going through certain seasons where you're out of balance. And the way you balance is the next season comes and you leave that where you were over invested there and you spend another season away from that, letting that relax, and you go into a different season where you're focusing more there. There is no balance. They teach people that so they stay stuck. You need balance. No, you're grown and you're broke. You don't need no balance. You worked hard today. You sold a lot of bit of your time for a little bit else of somebody's money, and you can barely pay your bills, but you worked hard. So you should kick your feet up, have some wine, and watch the Kardashians or LeBron for the next 6 hours, and then fall asleep and wake up and do it again. Meanwhile, you're still stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. No, you don't deserve balance. You don't need to have no TV. You don't need to watch no Netflix. You keeping up with the Kardashian. You know all LeBron stats. You ain't got no damn stats. Your life stats say 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. DNP. Did not play. Didn't dress. Didn't show up to the arena. Ain't got a jersey. Ain't got no damn shoes. That's what your life stats say. You talking about some balance and worry about other people's stats. No, Elijah, you don't understand. I had a hard life and I'm working 2 jobs and I only get 6 hours of sleep. Well, you need to get 2 hours of sleep apparently then. That's not healthy. You can't live life that way. I'm not going to live life that way. For a small period of time, I'm about to get no sleep and do the things that nobody else wants to do and make sacrifices. I'm going to give up these other things so I can spend the rest of my life doing the things that I want to do. I built a business in college. I didn't go out. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't hanging out with the friends. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. The people I went to college with, they got all their degrees. Most of them are stuck. They have crappy jobs. They're not happy with it. They make no money. This is not my projection. I'm talking about people I've actually talked to and know. I sacrificed because these are supposed to be, come on, man, we're young. These are fun years. We're never going to get these years back. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. They told me human beings live 80 plus years. Why would I take these 4 years and act like a dumbass for the next 4 years when I could sacrifice these 4 years so that while y'all jokers is over here stuck, I can be doing what I want to do? Y'all, man, where was you just at? So I just saw somebody at the moment. Where was you? That place was beautiful. It seems like you always traveling. Yes, because I made the sacrifices necessary. I was willing to sacrifice. I was willing to be in a season of balance where I didn't sleep, where I would skip meals or just eat ramen noodles. I was willing to sleep. I had an apartment where I slept on the floor for a year and a half because I couldn't afford a mattress. Didn't have a mattress, but I bought somebody's course. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just trying to show you that that's not nature. Balance is not, that's a lie they fed to you. You can see it in the seasons. If we really had balance, wouldn't it just be spring, summer, winter, fall every single day or every other day? Monday was spring and then Tuesday was fall. And then, no, that's not how it works. You get 3 months worth of a season. That's not balance. The winter is tragic, right? Especially if you live in the Midwest, this is trash. It's all frozen and icy and cold and everything dies. But ask a farmer. Ask a farmer how important and essential winter is to the next harvest. Like yes, balance. And so what I'm trying to show them, right, is that not only does the seed has everything that it wants to have, but it has to be willing. If you want to be willing to go and be all that you can be, you have to first be willing to sacrifice and let go of what you have been. Because what got you here is not going to take you there. And I'm fine with, if you don't want to do that, just stop lying to your doggone self, telling yourself, you don't really want nothing. And that's what we have, a generation of people, and we're all guilty of it, myself included, where we sit back and lie to ourselves. Like the conversation I was telling you guys earlier about that the guy I saw that was at this event with these big names. You over here trying on social media telling people you got $534 in your bank account. Why don't you sell the house, get rid of the cars, stop posting on Instagram, go move in with your mama or your mother-in-law, and go on a period of isolation? Do you know how many times I've told my wife, and if it don't work and we just lose everything, we just go live with your mama? And I'm dead serious. She knows it too. I told her. Hundreds of times I probably told her. That's never happened. That's the plan. But we just go live with your mama. And do what? Restart. Ain't that crazy? Outside of death, losing a loved one, a child, right? Most adults' biggest fear is going bankrupt. Because it's essentially like you restarting as a newborn baby, right? You go bankrupt, they took all your stuff. Oh, the credit score is made up anyway. Oh, my credit score. I don't care nothing about that credit score. Send it to 0. Restart. All right. Did you know the average millionaire goes bankrupt, not broke, bankrupt twice before becoming a millionaire? That's just what the stats say. I found that out when I was in high school. I looked at myself. I said, I said, well, how quickly can I get bankrupt twice? Honest to God. That's what I told myself. I'm a stats and data guy. I said the stats and data say I want to be a multimillionaire. So the average multimillionaire goes bankrupt twice before coming. I said, well, let me just get the bankruptcies out the way real quick. How many times can I go bankrupt? How quickly can we get bankrupt twice? Because that was one of the prerequisites, apparently. Now, thankfully, I haven't gone bankrupt, but I had a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of negatives. I told y'all before, I used to wake up, man, I was a player. Oh, yeah, man, I used to wake up to 5, 6 good morning texts every single morning. My good morning text was real sexy. It would say, good morning, your Chase account ending in 9206 is overdrawn $432. Oh, whew. Next message. Your Discover card ending in 1066 is overdrafted by, those were my good morning texts. 4, 5, 6 of them. That was a long time. They keep, excuse me, yeah, I'm just, Mr. Bowie, we're calling because we saw that your checking account's overdrafted, so we're going to have to charge a fee. Hey, lady, listen to me. I know you're doing your job. Stop calling me. I didn't have the money yesterday. You see the account. You see it's in the negative. That obviously means I have no money. I don't know why y'all think that means you should charge me $35 every time a transaction trying to come out, but go ahead. You didn't get your money from me before. You ain't going to get it today. Stop calling me. Right? That was my reality. I lived through that period of imbalance. That's okay. You can't say I want to be and try to hold on to what I want. I want to be safe and I don't want to have everything. That's not how it works. What's the next thing I wanted to highlight? That in order, once the seed is willing to cease to being a seed, that it has to be planted. Now I highlight for them that to the outside eye, this looks like a burial. Why? Because see, we try to go through life and do things and we want to look everything, look all good and look all pretty and put our highlights on. No, let it look like a burial. I don't care. Right? Let me say, oh, he's still doing that little business. You still working on that little thing? You going in the milk? You still paying for them? Yeah, you just keep talking. And I was just looking at him like, you still going out? You slept with who after you had all them drinks? Right? Why? Because we can all do it. The difference is I'm doing something that I'm like, that's going to help me propel. The money is going to be spent anyway. The time that I sacrificed, they spent the same amount of time. The difference was I planted my time, my energy, my effort, and the little bit of money I had. And because I planted it, yeah, it looked like a burial to them, but it was planted and was going through a process alone that could grow roots and anchor itself and later grow and sprout into something that will return me an ROI and produce for my family for generations to come. They spent the same amount of time and still stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. What are you saying, Elijah? The time is going to go by anyway. The energy, the effort, the money's going to be spent anyway. Don't let nobody feel you any type of way because you're spending all of your time. You say, but I don't have a lot. It don't matter. All of your time, all of your energy, all of your effort, all of your money should be planted. People are so worried about trying to keep up with the Joneses. Forget this house. The car, everything, but we need to go nowhere anyway. A car for what? I ain't got no money. Can't buy nothing. Man, I wanna, my wife deserves a date. She deserves a lot more than that. But you ain't gonna have no dates or no wife if you don't get it together. So why don't you say, hey, right now, this is what date day look like. Come over here and read this book with me. Sit down, read aloud, keep me awake. Because I only slept for 4 hours, but I need to learn this stuff. So I'm gonna read aloud, and your job is keep me awake. That's our date. And we're going to look back at this in a year, 2 years' time, and we're going to say, babe, you remember when we was doing X, Y, and Z? Now look at us. You know how many reference points me and my wife has over the 10 years? We can say, babe, you remember when? See, it started out when we were meeting together. She was like, oh, my goodness, could you imagine if we X, Y, and Z? You know my answer always was, yeah. I didn't have nothing when she met me. It's probably why she stayed with me. There's something different look in my eye. Yeah. Could you imagine living out? Yeah. Could you imagine? Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but yes, that's why I'm making these sacrifices. So you have to go, and it looks like a burial, but you've actually been planted. So forget what it looks like and be okay with being in isolation from your friends. I don't have any friends. Okay. What does that mean? Are these people really your friends anyway? I don't want no friend that gonna keep me broke and stuck. Dumb and broke. That's a friend? Come on, man, let's go out. You always doing X, Y, and Z. Thanks. You really helped me out. What was the benefit? What was the ROI on this? We had drinks, and y'all don't even have no game, so you didn't even get drinks and booty. You just got drinks. Drinks and went back home and fell asleep. Oh, come on, we all grown now. You know why we go out. Like you didn't even get no sex. You had no sex. Like you failed. The sex that you did have was crappy because you was drunk. You gonna forget about it. Like, come on, like what is this? That's the ROI. This is my friends. Oh, we had, and then so that we can call you my friends, and 20 years from now we can meet up and talk about the good old days.
Why? When we were drunk, wasted, and had horrible sex, or didn't get no sex? That's stupid. And then complain about our crappy lives, how much we hate our jobs, hate our wives, hate our children, hate the government and everything else, and then we get old and die. That is no thank you for me. And that ain't a friend to me. My wife started hanging around me. She would say, "Oh my goodness, all these people know you. Is that your friend?" I said, "No." She used to hate when I say it, but she understood later. I said, "They ain't my friends. They think I'm their friend, but they're not my friends." Meaning I'm friendly towards them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like yeah, I was popular." What that mean? You're not my friend because you're not helping me do nothing. A real friend gonna help me advance in life. Y'all don't even have a vision for anything. You're not my friend. You just somebody who, you're another human being. I treat you with respect. I'm nice too. We happen to be occupying the same space. Congratulations. So I'm helping them understand that you go through that process alone. Stop looking for a co-star. Stop looking, well, I want some friends to, and where's everybody at? You're going through a process alone. If the seed never goes through the process alone, it'll never become a tree. It has to be planted. You can't, if you can take that same seed, set it on your driveway, leave it there for a week, see what happens. Leave it there for a month, see what happens. Leave it there for 3 months, see what happens. Nothing. As a matter of fact, it won't even be there after a week because a bird would have came up, ate it, and done pooped it out. It's over. The seed's done. Because that's what happens when you don't go in isolation. You let somebody else come and pick you up and take you wherever they want to take you, do whatever they want to do with you, and you never get to reach your maximum potential. So you can go ahead and try to let everybody know about your plans and try to stay out there and you want to, you should get in isolation. Right? What's the next thing? That then we start talking about how we reference about how muscles grow, right? And how in order for muscles to grow, muscle fibers literally tear. Right? Obviously, we are adults. This is the science behind how you literally transform your body. So, like, working out is good, but it's actually bad for your body simultaneously, which is why nutrition is so important. Because you're literally tearing your body apart when you go work out. You pick up some heavy stuff. The reason it hurts, your muscle fibers are literally tearing. Just like as if you would tear an ACL. It's like, so whoa, that is not good. And so the body says, okay, we're going to repair it, but repair it stronger so we can be prepped for this. And you continue, because what happens? You get stronger. So you pick up some heavier stuff. It tears again. And you start to build something that can withstand a certain amount of weight. That's that process of what I told you earlier, where it's like, I don't get confidence. I don't speak to you guys with the confidence that I have because I read some books and took somebody's seminar. Because I had a lot of dark nights and days where I said, I don't know what we're about to do to make this happen. Because I've been on and audited thousands of sales calls. I've done thousands of pitches. I've had a lot of offers that didn't nobody buy, and a lot of no's, hell no, F no, what don't you understand about no? So I have a stack of undeniable proof from those situations that I am who I say I am, and what I did, it works. Most people just don't want to go get the reps in. But that's what you do at the gym. And we understand that in a workout sense. It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But then we go to our life and we're so confused when I put the webinar together and everybody just didn't buy. Oh my gosh, the ads didn't work. I spent 2 hours writing this caption and everyone's not flooding my DMs. No, for real, isn't that how we act? We just like, oh, apparently because I'm an entrepreneur now, everything I touch is just supposed to all like. That's what I tell people, you set yourself up for failure. I just assume everything I'm about to do not going to work. I'm doing it to get some type of data.
right? Not to get an outcome. I'm going to do something just to get some data because it's not going to work how I want it to. But I'm going to get some data and I'm going to adjust off that data. I'm going to keep doing that until eventually I get a result that's desirable to me. And then I just keep doing it. Which is why we've been doing this offer for 3 years. Someone messaged me recently. They said, "Oh, what you been up to these days?" The same thing I've been doing for like over a decade. What? Really? Yeah. Oh man, this guy who was a more successful entrepreneur for me, my sales agency used to work for him. Proceeds to tell me how he had this big social business and he did this and then he went over here and now he's stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck. It's all bad. They done downsized the house, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, well, dummy, why didn't you just stay doing the thing that was working for you? My phrase for my students is, don't get bored, get paid. No, I'm serious. You want thrill? I want excitement and thrill, and go jump off the Empire State Building with a bungee jump out the airplane, do whatever you need to go do, deep dive, ride with the octopuses and all the stuff that the people do, right? Go down in the submarine, pay you $250 to go in a little tin can and risk being squished like an ant. Do all that. If you want some thrill, like, we're getting deeper. I wonder if this tin can is going to get crushed. Yes, it's going to get crushed, dummy. You did not get in an actual submarine. Why didn't you just give $250,000 to the military and go in an actual submarine? You done got in with a buddy that got some aluminum foil and a damn Xbox controller. Okay, if that's your thrill, brother, I ain't going to tell you what to do with your money. Go ahead. But your business is not where you get thrill from. Business should be boring. Don't get bored, get paid. Done produce a result. What? I look like Boo Boo the Fool talking about some, yeah, man, I did this little thing 2 weeks ago. We did $183,000 in sales. Yeah, we cash collected like 80,000. I don't know. It was just kind of boring. I think I'm going to try to do something new next month. Try to do some. What? What the hell do you think I'm going to do next month? The same exact thing. What do you think I'm going to teach? The same exact thing. What do you think I'm going to say? The same exact thing. And I'm going to get the same result or more. And then, after I'm done, I can go and do something thrilling with my family, if that's what you want. Don't get bored, get paid. I just have shiny object syndrome because you're trying to do everything that's new. People just, man, you would be really good. We can get you the personal branding. I don't need no personal brand. No, sorry. Man, let me tell you about this content. I don't want to do no content neither. Let me tell you, I don't want to do nothing. I want to do nothing other than the exact thing that gave me 6 figures last month. I'm going to do that again. Everything else is trash. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. I'm not paying you. Right? And I'm not saying it has to be like that forever, but you ain't mastered one thing yet, and you done. I'm in everybody's mentorship. Yeah, knowledge is power. Get in the rooms. That's what these influencers use all the time. You got to get in the rooms. Get in the rooms. Knowledge is power. You in everybody's program. You ain't implemented nothing. Your business is trash. You ain't perfected one thing yet. Oh my goodness, I was telling somebody numbers. They said you have a 40% close rate and all the people are complete strangers? Yeah. Why? Been doing the offer for 3 years. I just keep getting better at it. Ask me when you think I'll stop. Well, maybe, hopefully, when I get to 100%. I'm going to figure it out. Because guess what? 10 years from now, you still going to see me doing these events. They're going to be bigger and better and more effective. And I'm just going to... Right? So helping them understand that. What's the next one? That, again, so what the purpose of that one was, you expect everything, every time I touch it, like it's supposed to be gold and work. No. Stop trying to deceive and set yourself up for failure and not understand that failure is the game plan. That's the plan. See, you go in and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm falling. This is and you think the world, and you start letting it mess with your self confidence. You ever have what do they call it, imposter syndrome? No. Why? Because what I perceived the journey being and who I wanted to become was this individual who went through and failed all these times and persevered through it to come out on the other side. So if that's who I always perceived myself to be, was the person who made it through the failures to become this individual, why would I be surprised? Like, oh my gosh, there's failures here? That was who I always perceived myself to be. That's what I was expecting. I understood that's the game plan. That's what I understood as a high schooler. Said bankruptcy. Woo, you got to do a lot of wrong moves to go through bankruptcy twice. Well, I could wait till I'm 28 or 35 when I went to college and did what everyone did, and I thought, I hate this job, and I'm going to try to, and I got a mortgage and a kid, or I could start right now because I don't have anything anyway. I'm broke as a joke. My family can't do nothing for me, and I can just do it now. I don't need to eat that much anyway, right? I don't have any kids yet. No, I'm telling you the real stuff. Like when I see entrepreneurs like some of y'all today who are doing it later in life, and you have friends and like a family and stuff, I'm like, y'all are my heroes. I couldn't imagine trying to start and figure it out. And you got your wife looking at you, your kids looking at you. They're used to a certain level, and you got to. It's one thing for me to say, hey, look, bro, we just not gonna eat. What I look like looking at my 3-year-old and 1-year-old and my wife talking about, yeah, we're just not going to eat, guys, because daddy need to figure this out. That's a lot harder conversation. Y'all are my heroes. I'm like, no, I'm going to just start right now. Why? Because why not? There's no rule that said I have to start at 35 trying to get the reps in. Let me just get some reps in right now. The next thing I told that I wanted to highlight and that I told them is after the failure is that's the game plan, right? And the story I'm telling, by the way, is literally how birds learn how to fly. You guys understand that, right? Birds don't just come out and start flying. Every bird, they push them out of the nest and they fall and they keep doing it. Occasionally, I remember when I was a kid, you ever remember when a kid we had like a tree? You ever seen like a little bird's nest? Like, obviously not eagles, but you see like the little birdie and it's like, is dead. It's because he went out and he hit the ground a little bit wrong. He didn't make it. But that's how that happens. Whew. Flat. I don't want a flat. Well, I knew there was something wrong with him. I didn't really like him anyway. On to the next one, right? Who am I to interfere with nature's plans? We told him the flat. He didn't want to. Right? But the ones that do, oh my gosh, oh, and you keep doing it, and then you're like, oh, that is the game plan. That's how they learn. So when you realize that, and what people don't realize is everyone gets those reps in. That's why I told him, did you know that you have a 100% success rate against the hardest day of your life? Maybe some of you right now, you're listening to me, you're saying, Elijah, this is probably the hardest thing I've ever been financially, emotionally, physically. You don't know what I've been. COVID knocked me on my butt, this, that, and the third. And my answer and response to you is, I would never disrespect you and give you my pity. I'll give you something much better than that. I can't wait to see what happens with you. Because you have a 100% success rate against the hardest day of your life. Think about that. Think about in your whole life, how many times you literally thought, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. How many times have you thought that and said that to yourself? I can't believe this happened. Why did this happen to me? I'm never going to make it through. How many times we've done that? And every single time, like I said, you're still here. And a little time goes by. You're a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser. And then the next thing comes and you say, whew. You almost damn near pray for the last time that you was like, oh my goodness, this is what you said, man. I wish we was back there. I thought that was hard. That was easy compared to this. What's that? That's life tearing you and giving you the opportunity to build back stronger. But like we said in the gym, that never stops happening. Over and over and over. Stop thinking life is, oh, one day I'm just going to kick my feet up and not have any issues. That's not the case. I tell all my entrepreneurs, the only thing that's going to happen with you is the expenses get bigger, the risks get bigger, and the losses get bigger. An entrepreneur is somebody who takes on an unusual amount of risk. And entrepreneurs are delusional. Oh yeah, we're delusional. I'm real delusional. I'm so delusional, right? That I have way more losses than wins. You know, if you hit a 400 in baseball, you like the greatest batter ever. He bats at a 400. Woo! That man, he's killing it. Steph Curry is arguably the greatest shooter to ever live. He's like 44% from three. 44%? That's what's that mean? I got way more losses than failures. I can do this all day. Show you. This is the game plan. The greatest ever. 40%. What? You mean that 6 out of the 10 times he did it, it was just completely horrible and missed? Yep. You ever seen one of those games where somebody, he's 0 for 11. Go look it up for Steph Curry. How many times they're like, he hasn't made a shot and a half. Man, maybe this just ain't his night. He should sit down, right? Don't worry about the camera. Right? You ever seen one of those games? Then they go into halftime. He get his little break. And Steph Curry, he an assassin. That boy come out with his little he always be chewing on the side of his mouthpiece, right? He come back out after going 0 for 12 the first half. Boom, he come out, he'll shoot 7 shots in a row. He made 7 for 7. What? In the game with 35 points. They won the game. Why? And when you hear, they always interview him. Oh, it was a rough night for you. How'd you start up? What made you keep going? He was like, shoot or shoot. That's what we do. I ain't going to keep missing all of them. Now, here's the reality. Could he keep missing all of them? Yep. But he's a great one. So what's that mean? He's delusional. Great ones will go as far as, man, there was something wrong with the rim. I know a guy who used to literally work with high-profile athletes, Olympians, and help them create an alter ego. And they will literally get into a state where they'll go see, and you know what? I was tripping. Oh, man, you okay? Yeah, man, that rim was broken. But on the second half, we go into the other side, and that rim's wide open. I don't know what's wrong with that rim over there. You sure your shot? No, it ain't my shot. My shot's good. Everything I shoot when I ain't working on a broken rim, they always go in. So when we go on the good rim, it's going to be good. He's insane. Exactly. You're delusional. Entrepreneurship is delusional because we have more losses than wins. For every 10 reps, I lose 9 times, but on the 10th one, when I win, the win is so great because we risk so much that the wins cover all the losses. And we have that one win, we recover all the losses, and we go, ooh, I'm good at this, boy. See, I knew it was going to work out. And so what do? Do it again. And we have another 9 losses, and you get that next one, you say, see, I told y'all. Ha ha! Right? That's delusion. I'm so delusional that if anything that I'm putting my hand to, if I am not experiencing the result that I desire, I know that the game can't possibly be over. Why? Because I'm not winning yet. Man, you down big. Yup, sure am. That means that must be the first quarter. That's the game plan. Ask my wife. That's literally my mentality. Ooh, boy, someone did X, Y, and Z. They stole from us. I could spend an hour telling you over the last 10 years all the situations we've happened and how we had to go get loans and like crazy stuff. Oh, we must just be in the first quarter. And as you grow and become more successful, there is nowhere, oh, it just doesn't happen anymore. No, you just start to understand that is the game plan so you don't freak out. Because you have this stack of undeniable proof to look back and say, this is what we do. Matter of fact, every time something's going good for me, and I feel like, man, ain't nothing done messed up and go wrong. In my morning, like when I'm ready, I'm like, I'm ready. I was doing it with myself just the other day. I said, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Yeah, things been too good. No, I'm ready for it. I already know. I've been doing it too long. I got too many reps. It's too easy. Yep, I'm ready. I'm ready. Right? Just like when you're working out. You're like, oh, I can do like 100 reps. I'm not even getting tired. What's that mean? Increase weight. Oh, I'm ready for it. What's that mean? You restart the pain and the stuff. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm not. Cool. Where are we going next? What's going to be my new max? I'm not delusional. Like, oh my gosh, why is this happening? I thought I'd be done by this by now. No. Cool. Because I have a 100% success rate. So all of a sudden, now my delusion is not delusion. Because when I actually look at the stat sheet, I've never lost. You know how you get the L on the stat sheet? When that happens, you fail and you say, oh my goodness, and you don't go back again. That becomes it. If Steph Curry never comes out and take a shot, he has a game where he went 0 for 13. He ain't have no game where he went 0 for 13. He got a lot of games where he didn't shoot well in the first quarter, couldn't make no shots, came out, shot lights out, and they won the game, though. And what's everybody always remember? Man, he came out lights out and saved the team. That's all they remember. Nobody remembered them losses anyway. What's the next thing? So I'm doing that close, right? And I'm acting out everything. So even I was watching some of you guys, right? You're laughing. Remember, that's my type. There's nothing that I'm doing or saying that's on accident. I'm being dramatic, right? I'll put it this way. At some point, if you really want to be effective, you have to be okay with letting the little kid in you connect with the little kid in them. Because let me tell you a secret about when you study human beings. Everybody thinks and society talks about like, oh, you're a kid and then you grow up. That's not a real thing. It's not. It's just something that society made up. You are the little kid that you've always been. You're that same kid, which is why childhood traumas have such an impact on people. Because you start thinking you're supposed to mask it. You're the same little kid that you've always been. But then society says, oh, you can't do that. And you have to and be an adult and don't get like. But everyone really just wants to be what? The little kid that they've always been. You want to be exactly what you were when you came into this. Your natural self. You get taught to put on these masks and hide and da-da, but everybody really just wants to just be the kid that they've always been. Like, for real. Y'all remember when in school when you was like, you knew the weird kids. Like, come on, y'all know what we talking about. Like, you knew the weird kid at your school. He was like, man, he, right? You ever seen him a few years later? Or as an adult, you're like, yeah, we knew exactly what that's him. We knew exactly what he's the same person. Right? You ever know the people who were really superficial, didn't treat people right? Right? They're really superficial and would always make other bully people make it. And it's like, okay, they were cool or famous now. And what you knew about them the whole time. These are the best years of your life. You better enjoy middle school. And what you see these people later, oh man, yeah, she used to always make fun of people because they looked X, Y, and Z. She 900 pounds, got 4 baby daddies, been fired from 10 jobs. And you're like, yeah, well, we knew that was going to happen. Glad you enjoyed middle school since you didn't know how to treat no damn body. Right? We're the same people. So I'm acting out and I'm being a kid in front of them, right? I even use my little kid voice during the story. Why? Because I'm connecting and I'm allowing them to laugh. And guess what? You can't laugh and have your defenses up. So what the material that I'm actually delivering to them is deep material. Right? Like we're talking about some serious stuff here. But remember, I'm telling a story, so I'm using objects, the seed, the tree, the eagles. And I never say it's them directly, but everyone understands and can see themselves in it. So I can say and do things about the eagles without you getting your defenses up. Because I'm not talking about you anyway. I'm talking about seeds. I'm talking about trees. I'm talking about eagles. Right? And I'm being silly and using my voice and everyone gets it. Because if you're having a good time, you can't be defensive. If I came out and said, you aren't doing X, Y, and Z, you're going to be like, bro, why are you talking to me like that, right? And by the way, you've probably seen speakers or influencers or presenters where that's the tone they take. Where they're somehow better than and authoritative and they talk down to you. It's not effective in terms of transformation and selling. Doesn't make any sense to do it in terms of conversion rate. May make them feel good, but literally they'd sell more if they stopped doing that. Right? I did it here with you guys. Why? You ever been in a training, you paid somebody tens of thousands of dollars before and they told you, man, you not my friend. Why? So we can go get drunk and get some booty? You ain't never heard nobody say that. Did he just say get some booty? What in the world is going on? Yeah. To show you what? That you can do and be everything that you want to do and be. You don't need to wear a mask. This is not about wearing a mask. Do and be exactly who you want to do. Be like, that's it. Who you see on stage, this is not a mask, and then I get off camera and I'm someone different. Ask my wife, ask my children, ask my mother-in-law, ask everybody that actually knows me. Brian, you'll see when you come out and spend on our next quarterly mastermind, which I'll tell you guys about on the end of day 2. Brian can tell you he was there. My kids running around, daughter running through the thing. I'm gonna go hide my family. Oh, my kids are in an interruption. Had the conversation with my wife plenty of times. Oh, babe, I'm sorry. Don't ever apologize. Let these people have a problem with my kids needing me or running in here. Bye. Your money's on the way back already. Care nothing about you. Oh, that is so okay. Well, run your own business and get out of here. My family's everything to me. They're a part of my life. And I'm not someone different, which is why they can be, I don't need to go. I know people, big names, who they're one thing on the stage, will say this and that, treat their wife like trash. That's not me. Matter of fact, not only am I everything that you see and perceive me to be on camera, I'm actually more off. You don't have to wear a mask. Be you. You don't have to be somebody as you're doing this stuff. Why? Because the audience doesn't need another so-and-so. They need another you. Some people are just your people. There's a whole market of people who desperately need what you do, and they're waiting for you to come be all that you can be so they can become your people. Not for you to try to be. This training is not about you being like Elijah. That's not what I'm teaching you to do. You don't need to be me. You need to be you. If you try to be me, you're not going to get no sales. Your people need you. The way you would do it, the way you would say it, the examples, the experience that you have, what you think is funny, not funny, your beliefs, disbeliefs. I knew President Trump was going to get elected in 2016. I knew it. I said, oh, this dude is gangster, right? Now, I don't care what side of the politics you're on. I don't think he's necessarily a great leader. I don't think most of the presidents that we have are great leaders. We're experiencing in real time elder abuse. Like President Biden, this is elder abuse. Have you ever seen this dude walk and talk? Like, he does not need to be out here. He's put in a lifelong work. He's done good things. He deserves to be at home enjoying his life and his family and his grandkids. They got this man walking out here, running all over the country, trying to talk. He can't have for member stuff. I'm like, bruh, would you put your granddad up there? No, let him leave. This is insane. Right? So I don't necessarily think he's a great leader. I didn't think Trump was a great leader. I think that being a great leader requires a certain amount of temperament. It allows you to have a certain amount of control, allows you to have a certain amount of passion and connectivity for all people. But I knew he'd be president, right? Because he was one of the first candidates that we've had in a long time who said, I don't care nothing about this, what's politically correct. I'm going to say whatever I'm thinking. And if you want to put in the dictionary a picture of saying whatever the hell comes to your mind, you better have a picture of Donald Trump. I mean, he just came out the gate. I mean, and he no stuff. Blacks, whites, Mexicans, what else we need? Like, he just hit them all, just whatever. You're like, this dude don't care about nothing. And everybody kept being like, I mean, he started talking about women wild. And they're like, surely no one. I remember when this dude, they start releasing the tape, and I'm just telling you, he was all there. The tape just came, he said, we could grab them by the pussies. I said, oh, Lord. And they just thought, for sure, We are not going to let this dude, because he's running around talking about, I said, and what did he say? He told them, he said, that's just locker room talk. And they try to, no, that's not no one would say that. Okay, come on, we all adults. Here you gonna act like you ain't never heard nobody, right? Everybody knew what? That wasn't, now it's not politically correct, but everybody was kind of like, I mean, you probably shouldn't say that, but, we do be saying that sometimes. Like, I mean, right? People's like, man, that's kind of refreshing. I don't know. I just kind of trust this guy. I knew he was going to be president the whole time. But do y'all remember the first time he ran? Everybody tried to act. Let your friends, families, and neighbors tell it. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, we're not voting for him. Well, he got elected somehow. Everybody said one thing, and then they went into that voting booth and was like, right? And half of America hates him. And the other half loves him. And there lies my point. You need to be you. Stop trying to be PC for these people and trying to be somebody. Be you. Why? You say, but people aren't going to like me. They're going to try to cancel me. Yeah. A large portion of people are going to not like you, your message, anything you stand for, not going to believe what you believe, have a problem. Oh, good. And there's going to be another group of people that's like, that's actually exactly how I think and feel. And you're going to create fans instead of just being lukewarm on the fence and nobody really knows where you stand, so they don't really have any type of true feeling about you any type of way. Because you're always trying to put on a face instead of just be who you are. I'm just me. Like me or don't like me. What I tell you at the beginning, you ain't even got to like me. I'm here not to be your friend. You don't have to like me. Oh my goodness, why is he talking to us like this? He done said pussies and all type of stuff. He talked about Trump. He talked about abortion. Oh my goodness, he's sarcastic. Right? I know Jen from another program that I use, that I co-own, and one of my students own, and I mentor in. She was in there initially years ago. She sent me a message recently, just sharing. She said, when I came in, she just sharing how she didn't fully understand at that stage, and couldn't fully enjoy all that I was sharing. That meant the world to me, right? She's in a place now. She's like, now I do. I understand it. I can see what you mean. I get it. Cool. And Jen, am I the exact same as all those years? And probably more than you actually knew?
Yeah, and actually, I hope I can say this. May I share something?
Absolutely.
So I think whenever I connected with you, and I told you that as well too, like in that message, it was because I was listening to one of my good friend Jared's podcast, and you were on it, and I'm listening to this podcast the whole time, and I'm like, this doesn't sound like Elijah the way that I remember. Like, he's holding back his personality actually. So yeah, you're who you say you are is who you say you are. And then finally, when Jared brought up like, yo, I hear you have this you call yourself a self-proclaimed asshole, right? And then that's whenever your personality came out and you showed it a little bit more. But yeah, you're literally like, how you are now is like how you really are all the time, for real. Yeah.
She said, how you are now is how you are all the time, right? No, because again, it doesn't mean I have to be disrespectful. Not my audience. She was talking about I was on a podcast. It's not my audience. It's not my thing. So I'm going to still be me, but I'm going to take into consideration and be mindful that this isn't my thing. But when something is my thing, I'm going to be fully me, right? Because I don't want to do damage to what you have going on, because your people are not actually those are your people. But if you my people, bye, right? And I'm not going to impress no. I'm going to say it how I need to be said. I'm just accept it or don't accept it. I ain't got no time for it. I don't know if they like me. Like me, last time I checked, none. I have never been able to go to Chase Bank and they say, how can I help you today, Mr. Billy? I'd like to deposit some likes and some comments and some shares and some hugs. They've never accepted from me one time. I can't write 10 million likes on there. So I don't if you ain't sending me no money, bye. Don't care what I disagree with that. Disagree then. You've been wrong before. You can be wrong again. Right? So what's the next thing? I also did something after laughing. I said that I made this point, and I'm only bringing this up because I want to actually bring attention to how I said it, because I want to teach you guys a lesson here. But I said, and if you're pretending, now this is I think this was the part where Jen and maybe Daryl, I can't remember, or Solomon were talking about when somebody said that's a close, right? And then it was like everyone was like, ooh, right? Is because I'm telling this whole story, and then I just switched kind of quick, and I said, and if you're pretending that you want your bank account balance to go up, and you're not first willing to let it go down, you are kidding yourself, right? This is what I mean when people who are close to me. One of the first things I ever told my wife is, okay, I'm a self-proclaimed asshole, so we got that out of the way. Now we can get to the real stuff. Like, decide if you like. I don't got time for it, right? Because what I learned that actually means early on is if you actually tell people the truth, you're an a-hole. You're an a-hole because I'm not lying to you. Okay, I just got we have different definitions of what that means. I think an a-hole is somebody who gonna lie to my face and then say something else behind my back, like y'all do. I used to have a lot of friends who were girls because guys, when you're coming up, have really stupid conversations. And I was like an athlete, and so I'm around, they're just idiots. Like, and we all know, like, women develop faster than men. Like, their brain literally develops faster. Like, so, like, high school, I'm like, this is the dumbest conversation. You guys are boring to me, right? So I would usually hang out with a bunch of girls, literally just because they were more fun to hang out with. And I asked them one time, I said, why do y'all do that? They said, what? Women will have a girl come in, she could put on an outfit and be like, okay, what do you guys think about this? And they'll be like, yes, you go, that is you. Yeah. She'll be like, do you think X, Y, and Z? No. Oh my goodness. She'll walk out of the room and they'll look at it like, what? Why is she going to wear it? Y'all, Jen laughing because she knows she's been there for it, right? Why would she put that on? Has she lost her? I said, why do y'all do that? They said, what? No, we want to support. I said, that ain't no friend. And I would be the a-hole because when she came back, I'd tell her, take that off. Look, baby, listen to me. That ain't you. You gonna go out there, you gonna look like Boo Boo the Fool. Oh my goodness. Why would you say that? You hurt her feelings. I'm just saying what everybody else was thinking, but y'all was gonna lie to her and have her out there looking like Boo Boo the Fool. Okay, I guess I'm an a-hole then. Sorry for telling you the truth. I'm not, especially if I care about you, I'm not about to have you out here looking crazy. I'm gonna tell you the truth. And if that hurts your feelings, that wasn't my intention. Be hurt, but now do the right stuff. At least you have the information. That's what I'm doing here. At least you have the information, right? So, just out of context, that seems kind of arrogant and a-hole. It's like, oh yeah, and if you pretending you want your bank account to go up, but you don't want it to first go down, you're kidding yourself. But in context, it hits like a ton of bricks because you realize that I'm actually just sharing truth with you. If this is how it goes, and I use those words, and I'm highlighting this because I want you to highlight how I said it. Whenever you're saying something controversial, right, or that you really want to stick with the audience, change tonality. 7% is language. The other large portions of communication are body language, physicality, and tonality. That's actually communication. So change those things. So that's why. So what happens most times, this happens during the pitch too. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But what most people do is they speed up. In reality, you should slow down. You go watch the replay of day 5 when I was pitching. It was the slowest that I had spoken to you guys all week. That's on purpose. It's by design. First and foremost, someone who speaks fast can't be trusted. Remember, it's not just the words you say. There's other subconscious things that's going on. When people speak quickly, our initial reading of that is deceit. So I can increase trust with an audience that doesn't know me simply by saying the same words but slowing down. If I want to overwhelm you with knowledge, if I want to give you the perception that maybe I'm even more intelligent than I actually am, I can speed up, but I have a tonality as if I'm bored when I'm teaching it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Elijah Bowie. I spent over a decade working with some of the largest brands, influencers, companies, helping them sell out their high ticket programs, products, and services. I'm responsible for over $50 million in sales. And these days, what's the message that I just gave to you? I'm introducing myself, but what? I'm kind of laid back. I'm bored by it. The perception is like, oh, he must do this. Did he just say $50 million? Like it was just like pennies. Like, yeah, I'm personally responsible for $50 million in sales, the biggest and baddest. They reach out to me and you're like, hey, he kind of got an attitude, but he knows some stuff I don't know, right? That's kind of the perception you get. Like, what? I don't know what his problem is, but this is by design. So I'm showing you guys how tonality can shift and communicate certain things. I do that at the beginning too, because people still perceive me as really, really young. Well, in general, as a society, we don't give young people our respect or authority. We definitely don't let them mentor us. Age is just a number, though. There's a lot of people who are 70 years old who they've been here for 70 years, but they don't have 70 years worth of experience. They say, I've been working this job for 40 years. I have 40 years of experience doing this job. No, you don't. You have 1 year of experience repeated over 40 years. Ain't no new experience. You've been doing the same. The 1 year of experience you had when you started the job, it's that same experience. You just stayed there and did it 40 years. You don't have 40 years of experience doing nothing. Right? Knowledge comes from experience, not just being old. Which is why I was 16 and the largest water company in the Midwest hired me to be their social media and branding manager. Got people who could be my dad, who I was in charge of. Because what does age have to do with anything? Nothing. Experience. But I'm dealing with strangers and I'm dealing with perceptions. And so this is the beginning. They don't know me. So I have to communicate certain things. So I'll kind of speed up. Also, by me speeding up specifically on my intro of myself, it tells you I'm not really like I'm not like trying to impress you with all the things that I've accomplished. It's like, okay, let me get past this part because like it's not a big deal for me. This is what I do, and then I get back into the stuff, and it's like, oh, right. It communicates so much more when you do that. So then I get to something controversial like this, and I slow down to help your brain process it, but also for you to understand that I mean what I say. And if you are pretending that you want your bank account balance to go up, but you're first not willing to let it go down, you are kidding yourself. Because I want you to sit with that. And if you got an attitude about it, have an attitude and let your booty get tight. That has nothing to do with me. That means you have something to figure out for you. I want it to move you, which is why I stopped and said it that slow. Right? You guys see? So like there's points of emphasis and everyone understands the points of emphasis because I stopped and said it that way and I allowed the brain to hit, which is why everybody goes, ooh, oh, right? Because that was them physically responding to having a conviction internally. Right? The last thing in there that I wanted to highlight on that one, how are we doing on time? Oh, perfect. The last thing on there was the circle of sameness. Right? I tell you, hey, you live in a nest too, the circle of sameness. And how the reason we don't have what we want in this life is because we'll step out and do things. We're not aware of the game plan. So as soon as we start falling, we grab onto the nearest floating branch and we crawl back up to the nest. Remember, I've been telling the story about the eagle. So I'm saying this and I'm saying them, but they're still kind of picturing, like, imagine a bird doing that. Oh my gosh, no, I'm just going to stay right here. I don't want to. So he stays in the circle of sameness. And so what happens? You live the rest of your life in the nest, because if a bird never learns how to fly, that's where it's going to live the rest of its life. Unable to do the very thing it's supposed to do. So that was it. That's the last close. There's one more I'll show you guys right before this. It's much shorter. But I did that, right? I'm not mentioning the program. There's no price points. Why? To hold up a mirror and let people see themselves and just all I want those people to do is look at a mirror of themselves and say, do I really want the things that I'm saying I want? Yes or no? If yes, am I willing to do whatever I feel is necessary in order to get it? Which is why I ended at the end and I asked them about the 10 years. Remember I said, if it took you 10 years, you had to sacrifice X, Y, and Z, but then you lived the rest of your life, would you do it? And everybody's like, yes. Okay, well, it's easy to say that because in reality, you're presented with that all the time. And we choose the opposite. Because when things, oh my goodness, and when you press the reset button, and then you sit and we ask yourself, oh, I've been trying for so many years, I've been doing all this stuff, why is it not happening for me? Because you keep pushing the reset button. Every time something gets uncomfortable, you push the reset button. Because you think that's not supposed to happen. Instead of understanding, this is just part of the process. And so you've been on this journey for a long time, but you haven't made any really headway because of that. And so you're 40 and 50 and 60, but you should have been out of this. Like this was meant for a 1-year stint. And 7 years later, we're doing the same thing. And so then I'll do a command to action at the end. And I tell them, hey, if you really want to do X, Y, and Z, and you believe that the opportunity that's been presented to you today is a part of that, basically you'd be a fool not to go figure out how to do whatever needs to be done to be a part of it. That's if you're telling yourself this. If you're saying, if you're internally saying, I want this, I want to be a part of this, this could change everything for me. If you believe that for you, and you leave here, you don't do whatever is necessary to become a part of that, that's cool. Just stop telling yourself that you act, because that's not true. Ain't nobody mad at you, right? This ain't manipulation, nothing. Ain't nobody mad at you. Just stop telling yourself that story. Anytime I don't want to do this, I was supposed to, right? What are we supposed to do? I came back from this weekend with the students, and I was supposed to, right? I just wanted to work on a specific project. And I started I had some stuff to film. I started filming that. Y'all, I got in like 45 minutes, an hour into it. I stopped the recording in the middle. I was like, I just don't want to do this. Right? Like, I just like, no, I can say, I really want to do X, Y, and Z. I was like, not really, because you don't want to do the work, so you don't really want to do it. And that's okay. I ain't trying to shame nobody or nothing. Just stop lying to yourself. I really want to get, no, you don't. You want to go upstairs and lay down. You care more about that. That's what I wanted to do. I just want to go sit down and I don't want to do nothing. I taught the students for the weekend. We traveled. I went across country with my little ones. I'm exhausted. I don't want to do nothing. Okay, cool. Don't do nothing. Stop lying to yourself. So that's a close. Questions, comments, concerns on closing. I'm going to show you guys one more that's a little bit shorter, but questions, comments, or concerns on closing. The power of it is, like I said, it's designed, remember, not about our program or product. It's not asking them to make a commitment to us. It's just about how can I tell them a story, right? You know something that's really good, I'll share with you guys a shortcut, is if you want to know some places to create some simple symbolic stories that you can use, you should, if you can find a physical copy, but there is a copy online, I believe, Aesop's Fables. You guys remember that from when you were a kid? Right? Just that big book. Yeah, so it's Jen, it's called Aesop's Fables, AESOP Fables, right? It's literally just little kid stories. There's hundreds of them. And they're literally like 2 minutes long. And it'll be about crickets and donkeys and like just little inanimate objects, kind of like the eagles and stuff. But remember, all these stories, like for instance, Jen, I know you know this one, like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. That story, it's Aesop's or Aesop's, however they say, Aesop's Fables or whatever it is. That's what it is. It's just a story that has a symbolic lesson behind it that you tell to children. And it's not to the children, right? Like if you're like, for instance, that was created. Yeah, there you go. I said there's a website literally full. There's like you can find them online. So what would happen is how they used to work with children, and this goes all the way back to like when we lived in tribes. If my son has a problem with lying, and there's science behind this as well, I can be like, don't lie, lying's bad, da 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 da. But a portion of him is going to shut down and not be receptive to that, right? So instead, I can sit down and you would gather the kids around and how they would teach, because you didn't go to traditional school like this, right? So how you taught the principles of the tribe and everything was through fables and stories. So you'd get around, and this was literally someone's job in the tribe, usually one of the elders, to tell the children stories, right? That teach them these lessons. So I'd get the boys that have a problem with lying, and I'd tell them the story about the boy who cried wolf. And you never tell them, like just like the seed. But at the end, all the boys understand what? The consequences of if you continue lying. And it has much more effect than being like, don't lie, you need to do this. And that's how most people try to communicate. It's much more effective. And it's empowering. Why? Because when you tell the kids a story, they have an internal feeling and conversation of, oh, maybe that's why people don't want to be around me, or that's why people, right? And you have your own conviction, and I never told you anything. And so you change your own behavior. You decide internally, I would hate for, right? And that's why this story comes from. It's kind of outdated now, right? But where these stories originate from, a wild wolf could definitely come in and attack people, right? Especially a little boy, a smaller human being. So he's crying, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, right? And that's the story. Everyone's like, oh, and they sharpen the stuff because that's how we used to survive. Because kids, they can't lift things or probably cook and stuff as well. So little boys, they're agile, right? If kids break bones, they heal. Okay, you go up in the tree, you look out for wild animals that could be approaching the camp that could cause us danger. You let us know so all the men can prepare and we can protect the village. Okay, well, if you keep lying, we're not believing you no more. So now, since you lie all the time, pack of wolves come, and they eat your dumb behind, because every time you told us before it was fake, so we ain't coming out here no more. No, I'm just showing you, that was the real story. Like, it's to us, it's just a story because we're so far from the context of, like, where are you going to see a pack of wolves at, and are they really going to eat you? But that was, like, real back then. So when you're telling this story, you can think about back then when you're thinking of survival, the little boys who have problems with lying are literally thinking, like, oh, I'd hate for a pack of wolves to eat me, boy. Dang, I ain't never gonna lie. Boom, done. We didn't even have to, right? We didn't even have to deal with it. We just told them a story, simple, symbolic story, and now they have this internal commitment. I'm not gonna do X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna be the type of person who always tells the truth. Good. That's the same thing we're doing here. So one of my favorite things to do is to open that, and I'm not looking necessarily to tell the story exactly how it is there. I look for stories that have some type of symbolic lesson that I think could be beneficial, and then I will add dramatization and create up a story off it anyway. Because these are not factual things. It's a story, right? So I'll literally just do that sometimes, and that's where I'll get some closes. Right? Sometimes in my free time, I'm traveling on a plane, just different little things like that. Right? And I'll just kind of keep in my notes. I'm like, ooh, this was kind of a good one. And I'll start telling, make up some type of, story off of it. So that's a shortcut there. Yes, sir, Mario.
Okay, so thanks for this. This is great. I'm trying to find out. So when I'm doing a close, the intention of the close is specifically to, as you said, to empower people to decide to do whatever it is that they want to do. Am I always trying to get them to say, hey, or to answer these two questions, which is, do I really want the thing I say I want? And am I willing to do what it takes to get that result? Is that those are those the two questions that I'm going after in every story that I tell, or are there different lessons I want them to learn?
That's a great question. No, that's a really great question. So that's an awesome question. So the answer is yes, there can be different. It's really whatever you want them to take away from it. But I think those stories, in addition to whatever you want to take away from them, should also lend themselves back to those two questions, right? am I really like, do I really want what I say that I'm saying I want, right? And if yes, am I willing to do whatever is necessary to get them? Because, especially because we all sell to adults, right? And so I do
Mhm.
this sometimes where I talk about like, I tell them, I'm like, because guys, you understand no one is coming to save you. Like, y'all figured that out, right? You turn, and y'all see me, I think I may have done it with y'all. There's something really magic that happens. Like, you hit this magic number. For some of us, it happened earlier. Boy, you hit this magic number, they call it 18. And I don't know what's wrong with this number. You come 18, and everything just stopped. Y'all remember when you was 9, 10 years old, it was your birthday? Grandmama would come to the house. She had presents and a birthday card. The birthday card had $20 in it. What was you 9 years old? What you need $20 for? Nothing. You done wasted it on candy. Now you 18, you out on your own, can't afford your groceries. You'll be lucky if you get a happy birthday baby on your Facebook wall. You get a card a week after your birthday that say happy birthday baby with no check. Now when I actually need the money, everybody, oh, he's grown now, he can get his own stuff. That's when I needed help. Right? You know this. No one is coming to save you. So if you're saying that you want something, stop waiting around for something. Well, I just need a break. No one's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to give you a break. I can't stand when people say, I just need somebody to give me an opportunity. No one is coming to give you an opportunity. You know this. So if you're saying that you want what you want, just make a decision. Nobody's coming to save me. Nobody's finna give me nothing. No one cares. No one is looking out for me. That is what it means when you're an adult. You turn 18, they say you're an adult. We care about you, but they don't do nothing for you. And so if I really want these things I say I want, okay, I just need to go. I just need to get to it. I need to go do whatever is necessary. Or, like I said, just come to the realization it actually ain't that deep. I was tripping. I thought I wanted some of that, but never mind. I didn't know it was gonna cost all that. I don't want that no more. I'm gonna go ahead and get me a job up at the plant, and I'm gonna just call you know it's cool. Ain't nothing that wrong. And I'm not being facetious. I'm really not. That's okay. I just want people to stop lying to themselves. So either, like I said, realize, no, I don't care. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm not going to complain about the time, the energy, the effort, the money that I need to invest and sacrifice. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it happen. And keep going and going. Doesn't matter how many times I get punched in the face. Or I'm going to realize, you know what? I don't want to get punched in the face. That's not for me. Y'all, I say this really, really like humbly. I could probably be like, I could have been like the next Mayweather. Like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like I got it like that, right? I could jack some people up. But you know why I'm not? Because I don't like getting hit in the face. Let me tell you something right now. I can protect my family to the T. Not worried about it. If somebody hits me in the face, I don't know how y'all grew up, how I learned how to fight. I was also jumped, right? Me and my older brother were jumped one time by a bunch of kids. So, like, when I fight, I'm fighting to win. Rules, I don't know what that means. We ain't got no rules. We're fighting? Oh, yeah, there ain't no rules. Oh, I'm going to win. And if you hit me in my face, I'm going to see red and I'm probably going to be in jail. It was like, it was a boxing match. What he done tried to kill him? Like Mike Tyson said, he ripped his ear off. I understand. Boy, I done gone to rip your ear off. I done tore you everything off. You just hit me in my face? Oh, yeah, no. See? So I can't do it, right? So what's that mean? No, don't. I can say I could be. You don't really want that because you don't want nobody to hit you in the face. So you just need to go ahead and do something else. That ain't for you. All right, you're right. I don't want this. All right, cool. Just stop lying to yourself. You don't really want that. That's a lie. You're right. All right. Like, military. I love our military members. Oh, man. I think they're amazing. I think you're insane, but I also think they're amazing. Boy, when I tell you I wouldn't make it out of day one of base camp. Cause they be standing there and them grown men be yelling and spitting in their face. And they just standing there talking about, I'd have said, boy, if you don't get your stanky breath up out my face, you got about 1 second before I go upside your head, and they'd have kicked me out of the army. Cause I'd have knocked them aside. Boy, I know you ain't talking to me. I spit. Oh, what? You done lost your mind. Yeah, that's just, that ain't for me. So military, that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't for me. All right. Just stop saying you want certain stuff. That ain't true. Go do something else. Okay. Right? That's just me. So, any other questions? That was a good one, Mario. I'm gonna pull this other clip up, and then that will close us out for today. This one's powerful as too, but I want to break it down. It's a lot shorter. I think it's only like 8 minutes.
Principle with y'all.
Back here.
See, I'm.
Okay, so actually, I know exactly which one it is. Let me go right here.
I'm play with nobody in this thing.
And then
play with nobody.
At whatever point that I pull $100 bill out my pocket, aha! Okay. Here we go.
The study was that the more you.
Hold on, not quite there. Aha, here we go. All right.
If you are a good person, you need to do everything in your power to sell it. Right? That's the first thing that changed for me. But I got a question for y'all. In this hand, right here, in my left hand, what is this? Everybody. A penny. A penny. And in this hand, I have a $100 bill. Right? That one. And so, I have a question for you. Right? Now, before I ask this question, I need y'all to understand. Pay very close attention, because not everything is always as it seems. But I have a question for you. Which one is worth more? The penny or a $100 bill? Okay, let's do it this way. How many of you believe that the penny is worth more? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you think the $100 bill is worth more? Raise your hand. Okay.
What do we all know?
It's a yes, not a test. You get points just for asking. Just for answering. Right? So watch this now. What's interesting about this, one of the reasons why people are saying the penny is because the materials that the penny is made up out of are worth more than the $100 bill. Right? But there's a lesson in there. No, there's a lesson in there. You see, because if I came up to you and I asked you, which one would you rather have? The penny or the $100 bill? Oh, the $100 bill. The lesson in there is that just because the materials that make up something are worth more doesn't make it more valuable.
That's right.
What makes something more valuable is if it's desired.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's right. Right? That's not even why I brought this out. That was just a little side. My bad. Let me get back focused. Let me get back focused. Okay, so I got this penny, I got this $100 bill. Now, let me ask you a question. If I hold these two up, I can hide the penny behind the $100 bill, right?
Yes.
You can't see this penny now. But if I flip the script, I can't hide the $100 bill behind a penny. It doesn't seem possible, does it?
Right.
Say unless.
Unless.
Unless and the $100 bill is far away. See, now this ain't just any old regular penny. I forgot to tell you that part. You see, this penny right here represents my lack. My what? Lack. My what? Lack. My lack. Everything that I don't have. Skills, time, energy, money. This penny represents everything that I lack. And this $100 bill represents my fortune. My what? Fortune. My what? Fortune. My fortune. And you see, the crazy thing about this is when your lack is this close to your eye, not only can you not see your fortune, which, by the way, is within arm's reach, because you like to tell yourself that your fortune is farther than it is. Ain't that what your little self whispers to your ear? It's so far away. You can clap for that, right? It's too many steps. You've been doing this for X amount of years, right? And so you believe that your fortune is farther away than it actually is. But make no mistake about it, family. Your fortune is within arm's reach. The problem is your lack is too close to your eye. See, you don't have an issue with trying to find where your fortune is. You just have a depth perception issue. You see, your lack is so close to your eye, it's all that you ever focus on. And when the penny's this close to my eye, not only can I not see my fortune, I can't see anything else in the world. And so I need you to do what Dontel has been trying to do for y'all the last 3 days, and I need y'all to help me get my fortune. Can y'all help me do that? Yes. So I need you to say, Elijah, get your fortune. What fortune? Say the one that's right in front of you. The one that's right in front of you. There ain't no fortune in front of me.
Yes, it is.
Say, move the penny.
Move the penny.
Hey, what penny? Here's why I say what penny. You see, when your lack is this close to your eye, when it's all you focus on, it doesn't look like your lack. You know what it looked like? Just the way things are. Am I telling the truth? Right? This is just the way things are. That's what it seems like. But that's not the case. You just have a deficit. You're just so focused on it. Because, see, you think that you've been put on this planet ill-prepared. You think that you're missing things in order to achieve your assignment. But you're not ill-prepared, family. See, in order for you to access everything that you ever want, you have to use what you have to get access to what you do not yet have. You're not ill-prepared. See, the problem is you don't let everybody else tell you about you. Hold on. How you going to tell me about me? You know that the beliefs that you have about life, they ain't even your beliefs. You a whole grown person walking around seeing the world with a bunch of beliefs that ain't yours. Some of y'all don't believe yet. When you was born and you was a baby, you was believing something, yes or no? Yes. No. What was you believing when you was a baby? You came out your mother's womb believing what? Nothing. Them ain't your beliefs. Somebody handed those beliefs to you. See, you shy to get on camera because somebody said, oh, he's shy. They kept telling you that, you heard that your whole life. Coming up, he's shy. Oh, he's shy. He's shy. Who said I was shy? I didn't say nothing. Right? That's somebody else's belief. And so when you're so focused on your life, you can't even see your fortune. But family, I'm here to tell y'all something. See, I just want to make sure you see, the other thing that changed for me is when I realized I wasn't ill prepared. I didn't need to focus on what I didn't have. And as a matter of fact, in order for me to achieve my assignment, I had to use everything that I did have. And not only that, nobody else could achieve my assignment but me. See, y'all trying to go ahead and be clones of people. You know your job? The goal of Content Mastery X is not to make you clones of Don Pettit. Your people, they don't need to hear Don tell.
And this one, right? This one's a little bit shorter. I start this with this concept of this penny and this $100 bill. And this one's not necessarily a story as much as it's kind of an illustration, right? But it's still symbolic because there's the penny and the $100 bill. And I asked them a simple question. What's this? A penny. What's this? $100 bill. Okay, simple question. I can hide the penny behind the $100 bill, right? Yeah. And I didn't go into it on this one. There's so many illustrations I can break down the rabbit hole with this. And I say, well, I can hide this behind this. Everybody's like, yeah, because you can't see the penny. But then I switch and I say, but it doesn't seem possible, does it? But I could go on a whole thing about just because something doesn't seem possible doesn't mean that it's impossible. Right? I didn't go down that one. But you see how everything when you're can become a close. I didn't go down that one this time. So I started telling him, like, okay. I said, unless, and I change the focus, the perception. Now, because they're the audience, I have to do it for me. When I do it online, I'll hold the penny up to the lens of the camera so it covers the lens of the audience, and they can't see the $100 bill anymore. Why? Not because the $100 bill is not there, but because the camera lens is so focused on the penny that that's all it can see. Right? So then I proceed to tell them, remember, the penny, $100 bill. Then now I assign something to these objects. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is not a regular penny. This penny represents your lack. And I define what that means for them. It's everything, right, that you don't have. Time, energy, effort, money, right? Because what's the traditional frame? We kind of talked about this in the bonus session on the first day of my event. You know what's interesting, especially about people who want to make more money, right? Like in business, is like one of my favorite things when I used to teach one-on-one sales was when people's objection was, man, we really, really need this because we don't make enough money in our business. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Here's how much money it costs. Oh, I don't know if we should invest in that. Things are so tight. We don't have a lot of money. Yeah, I understood that. That's why you told me that you needed this solved because you didn't have no money. Yeah, but we don't have enough money. I don't know if we should, I only have a little money if we should spend it. So I would say it back to him. So, okay, that's totally understand. So you think you're going to pass on it for now. Yeah, I just don't think that's wise. Awesome. So just so I'm clear and we can end this call, my understanding is right now your business is in a position where you're not happy with the funds and the money that you're making, correct? Yeah. And you believe you're fully sold that the solution that would fix this and give you more money than you know what to do with is this. Oh yeah, if we fix that, boom. And so your plan is to not do it because money's tight. Well, yeah. Okay. Christy, if you're not going to do this, if you don't mind me asking, what are you going to do to fix the money thing? Because you said you felt like this was it. Oh, I don't really know. I guess I guess I'll just try to go back and like, I got some stuff before that we were trying to do. Oh, okay. So you had some stuff from before. Yeah. And is that the first time that you've like this is some stuff you hadn't tried before? No, we did it in the past. Okay, so just so I'm clear, your plan is to do more of what you've already decided is not working. Gotcha. Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck. I really hope maybe this time it's different for you. What? Right? I told you guys about this during the intensive. Why? It's the law of polarity. Law of polarity says for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, which means that if there's a pro, there must be a con. If something's good, there must be also bad. Right? You've never seen a one-sided coin, a one-sided piece of paper, a one-sided piece of bread. Why? Because there's two sides to everything. And so I took the principle on law of polarity and I was able to start handling objections with it. Because what that actually means literally is what the law of polarity means is that any reason to not do something must also be a reason to do it. So they're looking at it and they're still so focused on the lack of funds that they have. They're being like, well, the reason I can't do this is because I don't have any lack of funds. Got it. But the law of polarity tells me that's probably a reason why you should also do it. Because you have such a lack of funds. You are better off spending your last funds on this to solve the solution than, I guess, just letting the funds run out. I don't. What is the plan? I don't. Right? It doesn't make any sense. And when you say it back to people, it sounds exactly how it is. Stupid. But notice when I want to call, I would never pressure them. I would just be like, oh, okay. I just want to make. I mean, I hope it works out for you. I mean, I know you say you tried in the past. Hopefully something different happened. They're like, well, okay, so tell me about, so if I put this amount down today, oh, so you do want to buy. Because I'm not chasing you. I get off the phone real quick. Best of luck with your stupid plan. I don't want no parts of the stupid plan. I don't want nobody saying, hey, Elijah, I didn't tell you to do that stupid plan. That plan is stupid. You just told me you spent the last 6 months doing that stupid plan, and it got you here. Hey, what's 6 more months? Hey, you never know. Dummy. Don't sound good to me. Right? So I'm helping them like, what's your lack? Whatever you think you're missing. So I anchor lack, and the $100 bill is your fortune. And I make a point of telling them that it's within arm's reach. But we always feel like we're farther away than we actually are. It's that old image of, you guys have seen that image, it goes around social media every once in a while, where there's like a guy like digging for like the gold diamonds or whatever underground, and he's dug so far and then he stops and it's one away. That's it. That's the game where you feel like, oh, I'm never going to make it, I just give up. And it's like, no, you was right there, but. So I've anchored that now, and they're starting to, remember, I don't know anything about these people, but as I'm doing this, they're thinking about all the times that they've stopped and given up and all, right? So they're having this own side conversation and conviction with themselves. I could do this to 10,000 people. I know nothing about them. Everyone's having their own conviction. And so after that, right, I'm like, okay, the lack of money. And I tell them that when the lack is this close to my eye, it's all I can focus on. Right? So the reason you think your lack is really the issue because you can't see anything else. It's so, but I tell them if they focus on it. Because the reality is what? I could just move the penny away from my eye. That's why you saw the lady in the thing. She was like, move the penny. I tell them to have me move the penny, but the lady before was like, open your other eye. Right? Because exactly. I didn't even go into it for that one because I didn't know about time. Then they're going to text me on stage because they were like in the back, like trying to tell me about time. And so I'm like, okay, cool. That's why I pulled out my phone. But I could have gone into a whole thing of like, exactly. It's that easy. Right? And it would have been even more of a powerful illustration. Exactly. It's that easy. Just move it. Stop focusing on it. Yeah, it's here. Doesn't mean it's not here. But why is it gotta be all my attention, energy, and focus? I can know it's over here. And at arm's length, I can realize that yes, this lack exists, but my fortune's also this close. And I only have a certain amount of time, energy, effort, and money, and I can spend it worrying and spending that on my lack, or I could spend it on gaining my fortune. It's a choice, right? Didn't go into that. I'm just showing you guys how you can, right? This simple objects, these are closes. Remember, they have nothing to do with the offer, but the conviction and conversations that are going on is people are coming to their own conclusions. People who are great at this are pastors. I don't care. I don't know if you're religious or not. Maybe just go on YouTube and look at like greatest sermons, right? Where they'll do little illustrations like that, and everyone's kind of having like this, right? What they think their lack is. Don't nobody know. You're having your own conversation. And so then the final thing in this lesson, the reason I'm telling it, because remember, nothing's on accident, is so that they'll do what? I told them to, in order to get all that they want, they have to first use what they have. So, see, one of the things that happens is, and I didn't go too deep in it because I didn't know about my time. I was trying to rush through it. One of the things that happens is, isn't it ironic that we go through life and we have these things in life, and at the time we have it, we never take it, we never appreciate it. Right? It's always like, oh, on to the next thing. Oh, I'm trying to get to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And you don't realize that in order to get what I have, everything that I want, I need to use what I actually have. Like, let's say you get a job. Well, you need a car to get to that job. My car's beat up and raggedy. And you know how you going to get a new one? Take the raggedy car every single day with all of its problems to that job and work your butt and take the raggedy car back. So you save up your money to get a new car. You use what you have in order to access what you don't yet have. That's how life works. I could have done that. You see how these stories, you just keep building on each other. Because the real reason you're telling the story is just a fable. It's not in the actual story itself. You can use anything to fill in the gaps to tell it. I just use a rickety car. So now, but what's the subconscious message I gave there? Use the little bit of money you have now to invest in whatever opportunity that you think is going to return you more money. I didn't say that, but that's the subconscious. Remember, I'm having communication with the subconscious mind. The subconscious picked it up because I told them the lack was money. It's all they ever focus on. And that they need to use what they have, as little or as much as that may be, to gain access to what they don't yet have. You mean I need to take the little bit of money I have and invest it in hopes that, yup. Or don't, or sit on it and stash it away like a squirrel, like it's acorns for the winter. It ain't gonna grow into nothing. You guys have to be okay with taking these frames because it's the truth. I know, since Jen brought it up, it may be perceived as the a-hole way, but you should help your audience realize that. I don't think I did it with you guys. I was doing a repit for somebody, and it was it was for this investing company. And I said, you know what y'all's problem is? Y'all always worried about everything being in a scam. Is this a scam? Is this a scam? I said, baby, you're grown and you're broke. Scam you out of what? They showed up too late to scam you. You ain't got nothing to scam. Wouldn't it make sense to go scam some people that actually have something? A scam? You're grown and you're broke. You have nothing. They would be horrible scammers. What type of scamming business is that? That's what I told them. That's the worst scamming business in the world. I'm going to go scam some homeless people today. They ain't got nothing. Really hope it. What's the loot for today? $2 whole. Woo! Nobody trying to scam you. You ain't got nothing to scam. So you got to take what little you have. Oh, this is my last event. Okay. So what are you going to do with it? You can invest it for an opportunity to learn some things, learn some skills, acquire things that could change everything, make the rest of your life the best year of your life. Or you can keep it in your wallet. It's going to get spent either way. Either inflation is going to eat it up and it's going to be worth nothing if it literally just sits there. Or you're going to be hungry one day. You're going to take your wife on a date, nice steak dinner. Oh, I need a new pair. Oh, the bumper of my car fell off. None of those things are going to return you an ROI. The money is going to be spent anyway. The question is, would you rather spend it on something that can return you money, or are you okay with using the money for something that's not going to return you really much of anything? I'm cool with whatever you do. Just stop lying to yourself and telling yourself, oh, I made a good decision because I don't know, I was let down in the past, and so I don't know, and oh, well, there's no real guarantee, and what if I lose it? What if? What if you keep it? You already know what's going to happen. More of what you're experiencing right now, which I assume that you're here because you're not okay with that. Now, some people may not, oh, Elijah, I wouldn't say that to somebody. It's the truth. I'm just asking a simple question. The money's going to be spent anyway. Like, don't try to make other people feel bad because they're taking what little they have. Because everything, it doesn't matter at what stage, everything seems like a little. I remember when I was a kid, my dad worked at Honda in the car factory. I'm the second oldest of 10. My mom did not work. My dad made, I came to find later, my dad made up to, at the most, $40,000. And I remember my goddad picking me up one time. I was probably like 11 years old, 12 years old. I was probably like middle school age. And he asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And all I ever wanted to be when I grew up as a kid was an adult. All I wanted was to be an adult because I perceived that the adults got to do whatever they wanted to do. Nobody could tell them what to do. And I could have my own apartment. That's all I wanted. Right? Probably because I grew up in a house full of 10 kids, all boys except for one sister, and we was in the same room. Well, I want my own apartment, right? And he said, okay, well, yeah, like, boy, like, what do you want to do? I said, oh, I'll just work at Honda like my dad. Because my little kid perception was, if he makes $40,000 and puts food on the table for us, if it's just me, I'm going to be living like a king. That was it. My goal was to make $40,000. I was like, bro, hey, y'all laugh if you want to. It made sense to me. I'm like, bro, I make $40,000. We all have food. I'm like, that's a lot of people. $40,000 and just me. I'm going to be able to do whatever I want. Right? Then I got into business, X, Y, and Z. I remember I'm like, ooh, I would love to have six figures. Man, I remember when we scaled that business to the first six figures, I looked around and said, well, where did the money go? I looked at it, they said 100. I said, we did. Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You hit six figures in your business? You go, ooh, I got a six-figure business. Somebody tell me where the six figures went, though, because I ain't living no different than when I did have no six-figure business, right? It don't seem like that much money anymore. Then you get to $250,000, you're like, I mean, we got the business to $500,000. I'm like, bruh. I mean, I know I'm doing a little bit better, but I for sure thought when I had $500,000 in my business, we was gonna be balling. Nope. Right? Every stage you get to, it always seems like not that much. So take, yes, what little you have, because every stage you're at always seems like what little you have. Y'all see how I just brought it back again? I told a little story about me, and then you check, to help them realize it's not about amounts. Because what? As you grow in life, the amounts always seem smaller. Me and my wife literally used to, babe, oh my goodness, could you imagine staying in, we just get regular rooms, a suite at a hotel? Done it. Oh, one day we'll do it in the presidential suite. Done it. Oh, could you remember a mansion? Done it. I'll never forget, this is probably 2 years ago now. We were looking for a property in Florida. Me and my wife, we went to this house in Orlando. We saw this house in Orlando that was for sale. It was like $11.5 million or something like that. It's got like 10 bedrooms and all this X, Y, and Z, all these square feet. We walked through it. I mean, it was nice, right? And it was funny. I looked at it and I said, what do you think? She was like, it was nice, but... And I said, babe, remember when? It was not about ungrateful. It was just like, you think like, oh, that would be like, we've been in places like this before. It was just like, right? Now you're kind of choosy. Like before, 11,000 square feet. Like, oh my goodness. It was like, I really wouldn't want all the family to come here and this and that. It's like, how does that sound? You're being choosy about $11 million house that got a basketball court and all this. It's like, doesn't make any sense. Because everything seems little when that's your experience. So yes, take what little you have and use what little you have to gain access to what you do not yet have. That would be the close. These are the stories. Make sense to everybody? A simple, symbolic story. That's closing. Something that you can tell the audience that will empower them to make a commitment. I told you guys at the beginning of this about my wife. She's married to me because of the pitch, but she had never closed herself on being a married individual at some point in her life. It doesn't matter how good my pitch is. The answer would have been no. And the last thing I want to tell you about the importance of closing is, see, people think that sales happens when the money comes in. That's not how it works. Let me ask you a question, speaking of my wife and my marriage. So our wedding date was August 12th, 2018. A year before that, I asked my wife to get married to me. We were engaged for a year, right? I got married to my wife, not even the day I asked her, but the day I decided internally, I'm going to get this ring and I'm going to ask her to marry me. That's when I got married. She got married when I asked her and she said yes. The wedding didn't happen for a whole year later, but we were married. See, the wedding date was just a day that we publicly celebrated the decision that we made. We actually got married the day I asked her. And for anybody that's like, no, you didn't. Let me tell you something. Try asking somebody to marry you and then act like you not married because the wedding day hasn't happened yet. Baby, let me tell you, there won't be no wedding for you to show up to. What you mean? We're not married yet. You know what? You're absolutely right, brother. It's over. What you mean, right? You don't get to be like, well, the wedding hasn't happened yet. We're not actually married. Yeah, you are. You're married as soon as you say it. Would you want to marry me? Yeah, married. You don't need the United States government, who's only been around for a couple hundred years, to say, you're married. What? You got married when you said it. What are you saying, Elijah? The sale happens when the decision happens, which is why closing's so important. People miss this step. They don't even teach this step. This is probably the most gangster important step, because when that person decides, I want what I say I want, and I'm going to do whatever is necessary to get it, that decision to themselves is when they actually buy. They don't even know what they're buying yet. Because when I asked my wife that, there was no back to the future moment where she got to step into the DeLorean and go fast forward to 2019 and 2020 and 2021 and 22 and 23, all the way to 2099 when we're dead. She doesn't have all the answers. She doesn't know what she's stepping into, and neither do I. None of it matters. Well, what if this happens and what if this happens? You make a decision now. And people say the vows, but they don't actually mean it. Through sickness and health, rich and for poor. People say it, they don't mean it. They get started. The reason we have such a high divorce rate is because people's word don't mean a damn thing. They don't actually mean what they say. They step into this thing, things get a little bit different. They said, this is not what I was expecting, and they want to leave somebody. Because I deserve better. That wasn't the decision and commitment that you made. You misunderstood the commitment you made. I didn't say it was going to be easy. You don't know what it's going to look like. That's the whole purpose of this. I'm asking somebody. See, marriage is not this little thing that they port around in the movies and they teach little girls. My true love soulmate. I don't know nothing about all that. It's a commitment. That life is long, life is hard, and I believe that you're somebody that I want to partner with for the rest of my life. No matter what happens, they should reframe it. This is what I'm going to teach my kid. When you start looking, son, don't go, oh, she's beautiful. She got a nice butt. Okay, don't nobody care. Not about that. Congratulations. My friend, life is hard and life is long. There's 8 billion people on this planet and they can't all be trusted. You need to find one person, because I'm going to die, son, that you can trust and go through life and say, no matter what's going on, I want you to have my back and I'm going to have your back. No matter what's going on, I'm going to trust you that you're going to have my back and best interests at heart, and I'm going to have your back and best interests at heart no matter what goes on. It's not, oh, you're kind of cute and you're still around. We haven't broken up yet. Maybe we should get married. If that's what you do, don't get married. That's not what it is. And I don't say this as somebody who ain't been through nothing yet. That's not how it works. Me and my were just having this conversation. And I told her, I said, I told her exactly what I just told you guys in the post. This is about something between us. And I said, babe, I'm not surprised by this. I said, you know me to be exactly who I say I am. And you don't get to run around and run your mouth about who you say and think you are and not expect at some point life to come and test and say, let's see it. I said, I am who I say I am. I got your back. Right? Why? Because that was the expectation I was going into it with. Not, oh, well, when it gets hard with it. The decision is when the sale happens. That's why closing is so important. Don't do it. You'll leave a lot of money on the table. You may have some marriages, but you're going to have a high divorce rate. Yeah, you'll get some sales, but you're going to have a lot of unhappy customers who want to do chargebacks and X, Y, and Z because they weren't really committed. You manipulated and motivated them into buying something, but they weren't committed to themselves that they actually want this thing and they're willing to do the steps necessary. You don't want those type of buyers. Covenant versus contract. A contract, we'll talk about this during my pitch tomorrow, and I know I went over, so I apologize. I'll get you guys out of here in 5 minutes. It's covenant versus contract. In my pitch, I think Brad asked about this, about the contracts and things like that. I don't do contracts with my students. A contract, that a contract is an agreement based upon a mutual distrust. Did you guys know that's what contract means? It's an agreement between two parties based upon mutual distrust. I don't trust you. You don't trust me. So we're going to write some stuff down and we're going to sign to it because I am expecting you to try to shank me out of this. That's what a contract is. Then there's a covenant. And see, we don't even really know what this really is. The covenant really doesn't mean anything in this society. But in the olden days, a covenant was in civilizations where two people would take a knife and they'd cut their hand open, and bleeding, they would put their palms together and they'd tie a rope around it. And they'd make a covenant before God or their God, whatever God they believed in, and make a covenant to one another, right? Specifically, this would obviously happen back in these times between men, that with their full everything that I have is yours, and I will use my full forces, my time, energy, effort, and resources to protect you and yours, and you'll do the same for me, or God will curse us and die, and we'll die. Right? We say ride or die, but this is like where that stuff actually came from. And it was a covenant between, we're blood brothers now, like flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. That's what it was. That was a covenant. And they made it on their lives. That if not, we kill each other. So a contract's based on a mutual distrust. A covenant was made based on a mutual trust. I trust you so much. I can leave my kids, my wife, my money, my everything with you. I know you got me. I know it. I could be in a coma for 10 years. You going to make sure all my stuff is straight. I'm going to come out that coma and be good. You ain't gonna mess up and done nothing and done nothing crazy and got right? That's covenant. Covenant versus contract. Have them make a commitment, a covenant to themselves that I'm going to do this. I have covenants with myself. I'm going to do this. I want this. I'm going to do whatever is necessary to get it, or I am going to die in pursuit of it. I don't care. That's a close. Tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern, same link. We'll send out reminders 2 hours before. We'll go over the pitch pillar. You guys are going to love this one. If you thought you knew anything about pitching before, brace and hold on to your seats. I'm going to blow your mind tomorrow. That'll be our first session. The second session, I will unlock and talk about some gifts. I'll start telling you guys about the different types of events, right? The pros and cons of them, etc., etc. I will also start telling you about the economics, how to reverse engineer your six-figure day, and fill in any questions, comments, or concerns that you have about the whole thing. Okay? We'll end that session tomorrow giving you action steps so that within 6 weeks from tomorrow, you can have your first live or virtual event and start producing results. Maybe not a six-figure day right out the gate, but you will produce results. I promise you. All right? I love you all. Go enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow.